Okay.
It's D&D time. Okay, and it did actually go live. Yay! Cool. We are back in the saddle again. No, we are back for another D&D. It's been a month and a half-ish. And yeah, super excited. I'm just gonna kind of jump right into it and do just a minor recap of what happened. I'm gonna do like a very, very short season one recap um, before we start. So essentially, season one, you met the big bad, you met the shadow. He's doing bad things. You had a couple plot threads, like the Book of Memories, something that seemed to be pretty interesting. You guys kind of followed that plot thread. Then you followed it around a couple places. Um, you're trying to figure out exactly what it is. You met the Horizon Walkers. You met the Rebellion. You met your friend Barty, the other healer. Had some fun times there.
Curse him.
And
We
specifically
don't
in
need
our
him.
specifically, you met and defeated the three subjects, which you found out there are 13 subjects of the shadow. So you guys accomplished a lot in season one. You slowly started to figure out what the shadow is doing and dismantling his support system of 13 subjects, whatever that exactly means. Specifically, the very last fight, going over our very last session, you actually got a chance to talk with Subject 3 while he was in a lucid state as opposed to a somewhat crazed state. And he pretty much was like, we. He gave off an air of, we're doing this because the shadow makes us. Honestly, we don't care if we are so broken as beings that, we don't care if we die. We're just following in his orders. No one really wants to, but here we are doing our thing, which a little bit confusing because he literally turned in like a couple minutes and then tried to kill you, but that's how it was. Also, your caravan drivers, Mark and I forget the other caravan driver's name, died in that last session.
Mark and
Um,
other generic name folk.
exactly, died, which was sad. Everyone had a little burial. And then you went to the rebellion hideout. So, a month has passed in game time. As far as what had happened with your group of people, with the group of people, the Horizon Walkers and the rebellion, they've essentially just been trying to find out information on the shadow, do a bunch of scouting missions and whatnot during this month. The Horizon Walkers still trying not to like. It's actually been interesting. FaZe has been not openly helping the rebellion, but has been actively helping the rebellion, even though they said, Horizon Walkers and rebellion aren't supposed to be together. You haven't seen much of like Greg, but FaZe has been playing a very, very integral part in said helping scout out things, helping you guys scout out like where you might want to go next, and your different things for your backstory, like finding the Countess and finding Crealis's people, and also finding a secret ingredient for Spagulio. And yeah, so essentially, over the course of a month, scouting has happened for the Horizon Walkers. They've been gathering a lot of information and now are going to try and say, hey, this is what we found. During the month, as far as for you guys, we'll start with Crealis. Crealis was doing druidcraft things. So I imagine during your druidcraft, Crealis, when Kiva was around, she probably helped you out. And you probably,
Yeah.
the two of you kind of worked together a little bit with that. Learning druidcraft and medicine, I'd say.
Sounds good.
Okay. So two of you kind of did that over the course of the month. Mega helped out around hunting, learning how to do stealthy things. He wants to be a little bit quieter on his feet. Um, so that was
Just
cool.
fly. It's so much quieter.
So much quiet.
Never mind the fact that I'm already the second quietest and most healthy character in the party.
It's true, but you wanted to be even quieter.
Behind the Night Hunter Owl.
I don't think you could possibly beat the Night Hunter Owl.
Right.
Always wins.
I can try, though.
It's true. And then we have Spagulio, who went and decided he wanted to be a hermit for a month. So Spagulio went out into the woods and talked to his sword for a month. And it's really not secret what he found out. Because I know that you guys can kind of separate information your characters know versus that, versus like what you as people know. I just gonna say he talked to his sword. His sword talked back to him, and the gist of it, I'm not gonna go into like extreme detail like I did with Spagulio, is that his imp went and tried to find out things about the shadow, and all he got back was that the shadow is feared and even among the greater denizens of hell. That's what he accomplished in 1 month. That was the information
Cool.
he gathered.
I also learned its name.
It's true. His name is Charles. Charles the Imp.
Another beautiful generic name. I love it.
Charles
Who needs
the
fantasy
Imp.
names?
Such a strong English name for
It is
Charles.
for an imp. It's a strong English name for an imp.
I mean, where do imps live?
Hell.
England.
I heard the same answer from both of you.
Oh my lord.
Okay. And then lastly, Kiva was kind of, she didn't want to deal with any politics or anything like that. She was looking towards the stars for answers. And one of the nights in her dreams, she got a similar to, so actually a very calming presence. So you've had other dreams that were like bad and like the inn being on fire and no one being around, the inn being on fire. This was actually an extremely calming presence. And essentially it was like you were talking to the stars themselves. And the gist of that dream is the stars were saying, follow the book, follow these threads. This is the only way that you can possibly get ahead of him, is to try and do these things behind his back. Don't give up hope. Keep being as strong as you are. Remember, you will always need friends, but you will probably need friends to fight this foe, but also always remain. They also said, always keep your head on a swivel, because you never know who or what is always actually on your side. And that was a dream that you had after trying to convey with the stars. Because for weeks, the stars were actually just in like complete duress. And then after convening with them for a while, you got this soothing dream, essentially saying, stick to this plan, follow your strong self, and hope, and everything should be okay.
Not the best answer for Kiva, but she'll, like, if it comes from the stars, you gotta just do it.
The stars are a little bit on the cryptic side, but they
Yeah, that's kind of how they are. Kiva's working on their communication,
It's true.
trying to bridge those gaps. It's a long process because stars are very old. They're very set in their ways, and trying to form these new relationships. You have to work on it. It's just like any relationship, you gotta
They
take time.
sometimes tell stories that drift off into other stories. Back in my
And
day.
you're like, hold on,
My
bring it back. Good. I'm glad we talked about, the beginning of the universe, but we need to bring it back to the present moment. I appreciate all of your knowledge. And also, let's talk about that here and now.
It's also really weird because like it takes like 1,000 years for the star's light to get here. So like you ask a question like 1,000 years ago and then you get the answer. It's like
Yeah, so to get like an immediate response is like, all right, we're cooking with oil.
yeah, you're looking for the
Damn.
closest star, regardless of if it has dementia or not. Which one's closest?
I just need to hear an answer. I
You're
don't
like,
care
"Whoop,
what it is at
buddy."
this point.
Yep, it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience. It's a miracle Kiva's lasted this long in this circle, to be perfectly honest.
Right?
She barely has patience with people, let alone the stars.
So while everyone was out doing their things, Crealis and Mega would have heard from some of the members that have been working that FaZe was trying to call everyone back to relay the information that she has gotten over a month about various topics. Kiva would have had a owl with a note attached, fly over to wherever she was, and Spagulio. I guess Mega would have been asked to deliver Spagulio a message because they would have noticed that Mega's going out to help Spagulio.
Friends, care to know a fun fact about owls? They
I
are
can think of
the
no better time.
they are the slowest flying bird.
Nice.
Period. And I've heard a couple people rant about this, but they are the slowest flying birds. So to make them messengers is a horrible idea. And yet people
It probably was.
On the
do it.
other hand,
Yeah.
on the other hand, consistency is an important attribute in a messenger.
It's true.
True.
Well,
On the
pigeons.
other hand,
Am I right?
pigeons.
Am I right?
Pigeons.
On
Pigeons.
the other hand,
Am I right?
Trialis is fine being an owl because it might be slow among birds, but among humanoids, still pretty
Oh yeah,
fast.
she's great.
Yeah.
She's
True.
great. But messenger owls is like on the verge of animal abuse. Just say, just putting that out there. They're very slow.
See,
Well,
that's
after
why they're
a
using
week,
them,
the
because
owl
no
will
one
gotten
An owl
expects them to
fact
be
for you.
used.
So when Mega goes out to get Spaguglio, he would have gone out with a big bucket of water because Spaguglio probably like didn't wash or anything, and he was out being a hermit. He
Gross.
finds a little lean-to, that he's under, and douses him with water, and then picks him up. It's like, all right, time to be a person again. Oh,
I don't want to be a person again.
It's
I've
so
made friends with the
disgusting.
trees. This one's called Trent.
not talking nonsense, or I'll dunk you in the river.
Do I really gotta go back?
Yes.
I found some berries in this bush over here, and they're really tasty.
Did you make
I
coffee
think
out of them?
No, but I think that this might be the secret ingredient, and I can go home now.
No.
Oh, okay.
Your sword, no matter where it is, actually at this point, says, "But you gotta go back and help out people, because that's what we're here to do, right? That's why you asked me to do all those things."
I'm only in this for myself.
I'll give it time. Give it time.
I like break
Well,
off a small
Matt-
branch from one of the
Like-
trees, and I'm like, okay,
like a
but
look-
Trent's coming with us.
Mega looks at him as he's muttering about being in it for himself and gives him a shake. Like, no, Mega's like, no, you're not. You're part of the group.
You know, I
Oh,
liked you
dear.
better when you was angry.
Okay.
I liked you better when you didn't smell like mean. But here we are.
I'm at one with nature. A real man's man. An alpha gnome. A king among trees.
Kiva's not here, but let it be known that Kiva is also one with nature, and yet smells smells fine. Has good hygiene. She's very hygienic.
It is possible.
Spaguglio's mind, there's no way that that's true, but he just has this picture in his head that people who are at one with nature would never abuse water that way.
Water
Mega
abuse.
probably
Jesus.
looked on and with Kiva, just a couple times, from a distance to make sure that she was still alive. But yeah, Mega would be like, she knows how to take care of herself.
Yeah.
Unlike,
She would have been kind of in and out during the day, but like gone during the night. So you'd have had to stay up pretty late to like watch her as she was like chatting it up with the stars.
Mega day night doesn't. There's always
Yeah.
hunting or fishing or guarding or whatever to do.
It's true. There's always things.
All right.
Okay.
You
No,
said something about a message.
Yeah, we've been asked to come back by the Horizon Walkers. So we're going back.
Oh boy.
I see you
Okay.
still have your
Back
sword.
into service.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still here.
Still know how to cast spells.
Probably.
God, let's hope so.
Let's
All right,
hope.
well,
He doesn't even cast a cantrip to prove it. He just
He's just like,
probably
hopefully.
probably.
Probably.
Just looks at his hands, looks up at you, looks at
Yeah.
his hands, looks up at you. I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
so I'll take the slightly roundabout way so that I can dunk him in the river a few times. So, it's like a dad would do with his toddler, where he dunks him down in, lifts him up, dunks him down, lifts him up. It's like, isn't that fun? Are you having fun, Spagulio?
So much fun.
Grumbling old gnome.
Oh my
Right.
lord.
Soaking wet. But he doesn't.
Oh, you cut out there.
Yeah, kind of at the very end.
Oh. We arrive. Spagulio is soaking wet, but at least he doesn't.
He doesn't smell. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's true.
He probably
Okay.
smells a little.
Maybe just a touch. He touched just a little tiny
Keeps
bit.
his distance at all times.
Residual.
Also, forgot to mention the most important part. The abyssal chickens were cooked, and they were mediocre at best.
Cool. Good to know.
Whoa. I sold my soul for cooking shit. The best I got was mediocre. Damn.
Mediocre abyssal chickens.
Well,
I
you
mean,
know,
did you
your
see the picture of
ingredients.
those? They have like black goop falling off of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
in between their
mediocre
wings.
is pretty good for an abyssal chicken.
Right.
Mediocre by my standards or by their standards? Because there's a difference.
I'm gonna say by their standards, it was mediocre.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it's
So by your
mediocre by my
standards, it would
standards,
be like the worst meal ever.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. If it was
You,
mediocre
you
by
ate
my
a bite
standards,
and were like, "What did I even sell my soul for?" And then you put the fork down or whatever
was
you
the
were eating
point?
with. What is the point of all this?
What?
But mediocre was
That's
actually
why
pretty
he
good for an
became
abyssal
one
chicken.
with nature.
He gave up.
It's
What's
all
the point
coming
of this?
together.
I can see me like flipping through a book trying to figure out which skin flap is the right skin flap to use.
Oh
like-
no.
What part of the abyssal chicken is actually edible? And
Yeah.
then you throw in the wrong part.
Ugh.
Okay. So everyone is going to arrive. Kiva's owl would have just been a message saying we've gathered all the information we wanted to over the course of the month. If you would like to, please. If you'd like to please come back, just so we can all get everything together. It's a simple message. And Phase is the name that is signed on the bottom of it.
The longest,
very-
most exasperated sigh she can muster, and she'll slowly trudge back. She's gonna take her good sweet time.
fine.
Again, she does not like these people. Not in the
Right.
slightest.
Right.
I like
That's understandable. Okay. So this actually isn't the map we're using for the rebellion hideout. This is a later map. I just realized.
Oh.
Okay.
But this is just where you guys are. So yeah, you guys go back to the rebellion hideout. Everyone meets in a large room with a giant table in the center with papers kind of strewed out all over it. Phases, there's a couple people mulling around from the rebellion doing their job, and Phases at the table. As everyone comes in, she greets you and is like, "Hello, welcome back. Thank you all for stopping by and answering my message." First you greet Crialis and Mega and Mega with Spagulio, and then like probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, maybe even 30 minutes later, Kiva would walk in and be like, "Hello, welcome back. Happy to see everyone. Happy to see everyone together again. No, it's been an interesting month." Looks over at a sopping wet Spagulio and is like, "I see you fell in a river?"
Fell is an interesting choice of words, but river. Yep.
Oh,
Looks
okay.
over at Mega. Just like sideways glare over at Mega.
Okay.
Mega is unapologetic.
Whatever happened, that's fine. I if you need to dry off, we can get a wizard with some fire magic, maybe. Do you need to change of clothes? Anything I can do to make you more comfortable?
Oh no, this is great. We're just fine the way we are.
Okay,
No,
that's
no, Kiva definitely just quickly does a little druid craft and just blows a burst of air, at least at his face. So at least like his beard
His
and his like
beard puffs
scraggly
up.
looking face. Yeah, just so at least his head is kind of dry. That's the amount of dignity she'll give him.
okay.
Better
Face just
than what
kind of
Mega did.
chuckles a little. Like, well, happy that everyone's here in your whatever states you're in. I hope everyone had a good month. The two of you specifically that I didn't see that much of. Hope you guys had a good month. Hope everything's doing okay. The two of you that have been here, she looks over at Kraus and Mega. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate the hunting and everything around. But here we are. We've gathered some information. Specifically, I've been sending my scouts out to try and find out where the Countess is. I know you'd asked about that, Mega, and also we have a lead on Crealis, your people as well. She does notice that Crealis' eyes go a little bit wide, and it's like, yeah, we will. You will be able to eventually meet them, as I had promised a long time ago. Secret ingredient as well.
Yeah, we
Gotten
should
a
do
lead
that
on
one
things.
first. We
He'll-
should start with
so
that.
funny fact. All of the leads start with one person, a private detective by the name of Phineas that we were able to track down. He's a very eccentric man. Let's say that his business model is he only takes the best jobs, so he makes himself very hard to find, which honestly, I don't know how that gets him money, but I don't ask. Phineas has always been, if I need a good job done, we track him down and he always finds results. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. He knows like where to find all of the information that you guys will all need for your various things. He also knows a little bit about the Shadow's inner workings a little bit that he's alluded at, so hopefully he can be of help, or he should. I mean, I imagine he will be very helpful. You actually see a picture on one of the papers on the desk of a very eccentric looking human with a very wide brim hat and a cloak that kind of flows out behind him. That has Phineas on the top of it. Like one of the scouts had seen Phineas and kind of like sketched him. This is the dude, right? Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. We've also been tracking down, I mean, the rebellion's been tracking down and trying to free more elvish cities from the tyranny of the high elves. I've been doing what I can to help. I know that's a lot, probably. It actually hasn't been that much to take in. But if you have any questions,
Yeah, that secret ingredient. Let's do that.
same person. He would be able to
Yep.
help you out with that. Very good private detective.
I'm trying to run a business here, and being absent from said business is probably hurting said business.
Is it really?
Probably. Looks down at his hands. Looks.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
we've kind of taken care of that. Your business should be okay. We'll still get you your secret ingredient,
be.
but it should be okay. There are
Should be.
slightly more pressing matters, but I did promise you that you would find a secret ingredient, and I will make do on my promise.
Well, the secret ingredient is going to still be the secret ingredient if we get to it next week or months from now. My
That is
sister-in-law might be dead then.
I mean, yes,
That's
but
more
if
like
we do the secret ingredient, I can leave.
what we've
Whether
been
or
able.
not, you know, me.
True. I mean, after you got that, you would be. I mean, honestly, you're free to leave whenever you'd like. I'm not keeping anyone here. I'd hope that you guys had been staying around to try and prevent a catastrophe. at this point. You've seen the destruction that has been wrought through here. I'm actually kind of sad that you would just leave after that. But
He's not leaving.
I hope he's not. The Countess specifically, we've found we had to go to the private detective because no one's seen her in a little while. We don't know if it's kidnapping or if she just ran away. That's actually very possible because she was going to be married off to pretty interesting human being.
The Countess
or human elf
is my mother-in-law. She's not very nice.
No.
I'm trying to find my sister.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, that's Phase.
I don't
Phase
care if the Countess gets.
Yeah.
I just need to find sister-in-law.
So yeah, your sister ran away. Yeah, your sister-in-law ran away.
Oh,
you haven't been able to find
great.
her, or was kidnapped. So really, either one's kind of not the best, which is why we've been working to try and
Both
get
are
her.
bad. Okay.
Yeah,
you got to find that Phineas back.
Yes. But yeah, we actually have a lead on where Phineas is, and we can send you guys there. And he should be able to
hire a private investigator to find the private investigator?
No, actually, it probably would have. It might have even been faster. No, we found him ourselves. Did a little private investigating work ourselves. So we were the private investigators that found the private investigator. But yeah, any questions about anything, I will do my best to answer. Like, she kind of looks around the room. I understand we've been asking a lot of you from the past now month and a half. She leans forward and puts her hands on the table and looks at you all rather intently. Like, I want to be as transparent as possible. I will answer any question as truthfully or as, well, actually just as truthfully as I possibly can. And that should be 100% true. I don't want to hide anything from you guys. We're asking a lot of the four of you, bringing you from, beginning adventurers to fight one of the most powerful beings that exists. I don't want you to think that we're hiding anything. I don't want you to think that we're working against you in any way.
Find out what crashed into the woods up north of the keep?
There was we haven't been able to really get a scouting party near there over the last month. Something keeps on driving them away. So something definitely crashed into the north. But every time we send someone, they don't die, but they get a certain distance to it, it seems. We've actually been able to sketch a little circle around it. And then it's almost like they black out for a period of time and then they come back. And they can't tell us a damn thing about what they actually saw.
That sounds you.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I don't know how to deal with personally. I'm racking my brain a little bit. My focus hasn't been on that entirely. But it definitely is something that needs to be dealt with at some point. I just don't know how to do that when every time you walk towards it, you forget what happened.
In what direction did you say was Phineas?
He would be to the northeast in a town called Brightwater.
Spagulio takes out the little branch that he broke off when he was in the woods, and he holds it up, kind of like this, in Phase's direction, and he's then he puts it back, and he's like, Trent doesn't like you.
Kiva kind of mutters under her breath, for once I agree with Trent.
Kiva doesn't like Phase either?
No, Kiva does not like the Horizon Walkers at all. I don't know her thoughts on the
Not in
rebellion
the
in general,
slightest.
but the Horizon Walkers know.
Yeah, no, she thinks this is all just like one big, massive like scam. She thinks that all of these
Everything's a scam.
people are like hiding things and lying and, just like using their power to like manipulate people. And like, she is very like not about the system.
Fight the power.
I Spaguglio just feels like we're being
Exactly.
used.
She's like, nah,
Spaguglio just feels like we're being used at this point. He doesn't really think that he needs to fight the power, that there's any ill will, but he definitely feels like we're being used for our specific talents to further. I guess that they don't want to die, but like we're being used, okay? Whether it's heroic or not, we're
yeah,
being
yeah.
used.
No,
You
like
use because you don't want to die.
for once, like Spagulio and Kiva are like on a similar wavelength. Like Kiva's not gonna go out of her way to like, hurt the Horizon Walkers. They are still just people. Some of them probably very ignorant people. But she's also like, yeah, no, this system is like messed up and like we're totally just like fools and I don't need to be a part of this 100%. I don't need to be invested in your whole dealio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent doesn't like you very much.
Okay.
Phase kind of
Mega,
gives you a perplexed. You go
Mega's
first.
looking between Kiva. I think at this point Mega can tell Kiva's just kind of like sitting there, muttering under her
I mean,
breath.
she's just like patient. She is patiently waiting for FaZe to stop talking about how honest and transparent she is, because that's what liars do. Is they talk about how honest and transparent they are. So she's just waiting. And when the time is appropriate, she's gonna just stand up and leave.
So, and then I also know that Guglio is, one twig short of a bundle right now. So
Literally.
yeah. So Mega's gonna look at Crealis and be like, Cree, or should we team together and ready to decide what we're gonna do?
Crealis gives like a little small nod, like kind of glances at takes in the situation. But she also turns to FaZe and says, what's happening with the dragon?
As far as we know, the very final part of the plan should be taking place this week, and the dragon should be dealt with. Everything's actually been going very well. The heroes out to the left or out to the west that have been dealing with him, they go by the name Tim's team. I have no clue why they go by that name. They just told me that name once and said, "Say it loud." They're a very eccentric group of heroes, but they get the job done. The trap should be set, and if everything goes well, by the end of the week, the dragon should be dealt with, and we can focus everything on the shadow.
Do you think maybe the shadow will interfere with those efforts?
I think from everything we've been able to gather, the shadow does not like the dragon, so he probably would be okay with him being gone, which means we might have to step up our efforts, because with the dragon gone, the shadow might step up his efforts to do what, as far as we can tell, he just wants pain and suffering, so he'll probably just increase the amount of pain and suffering that he inflicts on this world. I don't even, honestly, none of us really know his end goal other than just to create chaos.
If you manage to kill this dragon, dibs on the flank steak.
It's undead.
Dibs on the flank steak.
It's rotting flesh.
Don't tempt him.
I think, and very like, kind of exaggerated, like clearly, very obviously turning and looking at everyone. I think we don't have any other questions. We should probably get on our way, and I'm sure you're very busy.
Sure.
Uh,
I definitely have some things to
Kiva
do.
puts a hand on Crealis and is just like, I agree. Let's head out. Um, just like trying to put on an air of like calm sweetness in front of Phase, but underneath is just seething. Just like,
Okay.
let's get my baby bird away from these government people.
These fools.
No.
Okay, so as we're all getting up to go, Mega's trying to like shepherd everyone out, and he turns back to Faye, like, "You said Brightwater, right?
Brightwater, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, Mega, can I talk to you just a little bit before?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, Alice, can you make sure that everyone gets out to
I think we can manage.
thank you.
Okay.
And
Now,
she like turns to Kiva and says, I've been exploring a bit, and I think I found a shortcut." And takes a slightly different route.
Spagulio walks out the door and flying steak. And just walks out.
so we get to
Kiva
do
will follow Crealis for sure and go wherever little sneaky owl baby goes.
cool thing with Discord here. I'm gonna pull Mega down to the Whisper channel so the stream and I can hear it, and Faze and Mega are gonna have a little talk.
Ooh.
All right, time to open stream.
Okay, so we're in the Whisper channel. When you that's gonna the webcams are gonna be a little bit ruined. I'll fix them in a little bit. Anyway, so you turn back to Faze. She's like, I get the feeling that no one trusts me, and I don't know. I really don't. She just kind of shakes her head. I don't know what to do in the situation.
Yeah, let me talk to them. Paguglio is an easy case. Kiva, I don't know, what's going on with her. As far as I can tell, everything's been mostly above, not most, but completely above board. So I don't know. It's, I think, a field trip out to Brightwater, take care of a few things, get Kiva back on the road, get her out under the stars. I mean, I guess she lives with her head, in a different area.
That's true. I want to be as helpful as possible because I know I'm the reason that you're here, and I don't want to just leave you guys. Call it a sense of protection. I just don't want, but I don't know how to be more genuine, and I feel like I'm
Well,
getting nowhere.
when it comes to sheep that don't listen, you have two options. You can either, if they're stubborn, you can either try and lead them in a way that you don't want them to go, because then they'll fight you and go the way you want them to go, or you can just whack them with a. I think we should try pushing her in a direction that we'll take a step back. He's like, well, the stick is tempting, but no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
so
definitely try.
let's try. If something gets bad, and try and maybe lay it off as low, expecting the worst. So if we see success by kind of aiming to pick our own choice.
Yeah.
If you can get a note to me with what's going on and how bad things are, I can make sure that we get where we need to get.
Well, thank you.
While still getting everybody determine what we came for.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm still worried about my sister-in-law. We need to find Realis' soul.
Well, I mean,
Guglio's soul seems to change on an hour-by-hour basis, but like I said, he's redirect with shiny.
and I realize that I want to make sure you guys have everything you came here for underway. I cannot ask you to fight a powerful foe without having your own personal things in check. That's why we've been searching so much for that. I thank you for the talk. I'm afraid the only thing that really makes me afraid is that they don't understand exactly what they're facing, and they might be too nonchalant about it, and they might also try and kick back on anything that I'm trying to say that's helpful. I'm just afraid that that's going to lead them down something that gets them all killed. And I appreciate that you're there to try and stop that.
Yep, I will make sure that if there's any kicking to be done, that I'm kicking the right direction.
Okay. Well, best be on your way.
Best
I wish
be
you
on my way.
biggest luck. Do you remember Phineas is a very he's a very, very interesting character. But he will be helpful.
I get kind of sighs. With everyone I've met here, I wouldn't imagine it the other way.
Okay. Back up.
It's a huge difference whether you add salt or sugar.
Hello.
Oh,
It's true. Same vibes.
same vibes.
Sorry, we're talking about cookies because I have many of them, and like half of them are oatmeal raisin, and I'm upset about it.
What a
Damn
shock.
oatmeal raisin.
Kiva's upset about something. Oh God.
Hey,
Although a counterpoint to what I just said, in regular oatmeal, raisins can feature and they're great in
Yeah.
regular oatmeal, but then you make it a cookie and suddenly
I think the problem is you usually eat the cookie without realizing it was oatmeal raisin.
Because
and
it looks
it's
like
mostly-
chocolate chips sometimes, and you're like,
Most-
why?
it's the surprise.
Yeah, it's the
Right?
surprise disappointment. I don't think it's so much the
Hold on.
raisins.
I know
this is the
not
conversation
D&D,
that's
but also we're
happening
going to talk
while
about
we're
cookies.
walking.
These cookies look
Sure.
relatively the same, right? They look pretty similar. One's chocolate chip, but this one's
One's
oatmeal
the
raisin.
devil.
But you know how easy it would be for me to just take a bite of this one, thinking that it was this one.
It's unfortunate.
One of them
It
makes a really good
is!
frisbee, though.
Anyway, now y'all
Oatmeal
know about
raisin
like
Frisbees.
Stacey's personal issues with cookies.
I
I feel
mean,
like
they're
Mega comes out and we're throwing oatmeal raisin cookies back and
Does,
forth.
Oh,
does Kiva hold
exactly what's
most of
going on.
Stacey's anger issues? Yes, she does. Is this okay? Maybe not.
Yeah. Mega comes out and they're literally like 20 yards down the road in front of a baker's stall, like throwing cookies at each other. And Mega's
this
just
is
like,
a bad
oh my
cookie.
God.
This is a good cookie.
We will
Can
cleanse
you
this
believe
town
these
of bad
Horizon
cookies.
walkers trying to put nutrition into cookies? This is why we have to fight the system.
Cookies are supposed to be a treat, you bastard.
No raisin, no oatmeal. You get a small crowd behind you. They already may have picket
they're
signs.
chanting. They're chanting no raisin, no oatmeal. Can we just be cookie pirates?
Okay. Mega's gonna like step
Could
in
this be
and
the new campaign? It's just like Kiva trying to fight the power.
Yes,
In any
about
way
the
she can
cookies. It has to
imagine.
all be
Creos
about
looks over
cookies,
at
though.
Mega and just mouths, "I tried."
okay, good. Let's all my tent area that I've been staying is just over this way. So he points like towards his tent area, which is away from like the rest of the town area. I've got stew on. Let's go. We can
But
decide where
before
we're
we go,
going.
Do you have just a
Spagulio.
second? Do you have just to sign this petition to make oatmeal raisin cookies illegal?
Oh, I like oatmeal. Oh,
Actually, they're not just illegal. You see, we've imposed a significant fine on the making of oatmeal raisin cookies. So all those who choose to make oatmeal raisin cookies, will have to pay the price. And then with those funds, what we're going to do is we're going to start another protest. But this
Yeah.
time it will be about the quality of meat that has been given to the soldiers who are very obviously
We're gonna call it the no
underfed.
fun tax.
And
No
yes, it
Let
is
the
the
list
no
of priorities
no
here.
fun.
Cookies first, oatmeal raisin cookies first, then properly feeding our army.
Well, they're not gonna
Gotta
be
get your
properly
priorities
fed
in
during
check.
oatmeal raisin
see-
bullshit.
You see, a lot of people, when you're looking to overthrow a government, they start too big. And you can't start with the big things. You have to start with the small things and work your way up. That way they don't see you coming.
See, this is where we disagree. I think this is a
And
very
you've
big
already
issue.
worked yourself into the system where you can pull enough strings to get what you want and make real change.
That's how it's done. It's how it's done.
Whoops, is Kiva an anarchist? Who's to say?
Now she is. Anyway, do you guys have your
Yeah.
your discussion about oatmeal raisin cookies? Because it is canon now. It is happening. I've made it canon.
I was waiting to see if you were gonna say if it was canon or not.
Oh, it's canon. There was a baking stall outside that had two unmarked cookies. One was oatmeal raisin, one was chocolate chip. You went and picked up an oatmeal raisin cookie, and this started everything.
Mega's got his head in
A moonbeam descends upon the cart.
like Il Naval
You know
saved
what?
me.
It probably does.
Just-
After all of the chocolate chip cookies had been rescued. They don't
Just
need
to
to live
like
in that
rub salt in
torture.
the wound, there was a sign over the oatmeal raisin one that said "Phase's pick."
No.
Phase's favorite.
Yes! Phase look like oatmeal raisin cookies.
Okay. How many cookies are at this? Out of curiosity.
There was roughly 20 of each kind.
Okay.
Was.
Mega's
But
Not to mention the other
indistinguishable from one
pastries.
another.
Yeah,
But
they were
Mega's
pretty
gonna
damn
look at the
close.
Mega's gonna look at the crew like enough. And turn to the shopkeeper. I'll buy all of them right now.
Shopkeeper just looked to the back. Oh, okay,
Shitty ones.
sure. That'll be
A waste of money.
5 gold.
Okay. He 5 gold out. Puts them on the table slightly harder than at this point.
Yeah.
Takes a sack off of his belt. Holds it out. Put them in here.
Okay, and you just start putting both. You said the whole thing, so
Back
both
of
kinds are
holding.
going in.
Both kinds together, yeah.
Yep, both kinds are going in the back.
Don't you realize what
Kiva,
you've
like,
done, you imbecile?
Once Mega's doing this, Kiva just like stands there and like stares him down and is just like,
This is the OG Bean Boozled.
we were just talking about that.
Oatmeal raisin or not?
Talking about that. Right while
Mega's-
Gingy's gone, we were talking about Bean Boozled.
Mega
There
has
you
a
go.
sack of cookies now. He's like, all right, let's go. Starts walking.
Whatever you say, Santa Claus.
As you are leaving and going past the cart with a very happy cookie salesman who was taken aback at first and then had his entire day, like his day is free now. All of his cookies have sold, so he's happy. A familiar half-elf, Pharrell, kind of walks up behind you and is like, oatmeal raisin are pretty bad cookies. I don't know why you would put them both in the cart. In the bag. I don't understand that one.
Saying that to me.
Would you care to sign the petition?
Yeah, it was to Mega. And she immediately takes out she immediately just signs the petition. It's like, if it's against oatmeal raisin cookies, I definitely 100%.
Thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
Mega whirls around, looks at Pharrell, and like, listen, I don't care. Takes the bag of cookies in this big meaty fist, and turns and whacks the sack into a tree. Like, bam, 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 bam.
That's just a waste of good cookies and bad
Run
cookies,
over
but
Wow,
good
you know
cookies.
that Kiva had anger issues.
Run over to the
Jeez.
tree. I'm just like, shh, Philip, it's okay.
I'm a
It's okay,
barbarian. Let's go.
It's a good point. I'm I'm just heading out to Brightwater myself. I'm just gonna go on ahead. I just wanted to say hi to you guys, and sounds like you have a pretty interesting conversation. Just want to put in my little 2 cents. You guys have fun. See you possibly in Brightwater.
Krialis doesn't say anything, but her eyes scream, "Don't leave me with all these mad people."
She
assume I'm
actually looks
standing
at
beside-
Krialis. She jokingly pulls out her weapon. It's like, "Death to oatmeal raisin," and then runs off into the trees as fast as she can.
I assume I'm standing beside Kiva, and I'm just like, 3 copper, says the oatmeal raisin once didn't break.
Kiva just
Did
kind
I-
of like nods
Did I
solemnly.
hear that? I hear that.
Oh, were you trying to be quiet, Spagulio, or were you just kind of
No,
whispering
I wasn't
loudly?
trying to be quiet.
Okay,
No,
so
no.
you would have heard that
I
for sure.
said it. I said it. I full on said it. I just wanted to make sure I was standing beside her instead of yelling it across the field.
Yeah.
But I was not quiet about it.
Oh,
It's like,
as I stomp off, and as we get close to whatever closest stream or lake, I'm just gonna take this whole sack, throw it in the lake.
For the fishes now.
I'm
Oh
surprised.
my
it didn't sting.
goodness.
I'm going to just fly overhead and keep an eye out, and just takes off.
Krialis is done.
You know, they
No
say
more of
oatmeal
this
is
nonsense.
denser than water.
Krialis is like, oh no, I'm like associated with anarchists. What am I gonna do?
We got the member of the lead. One of the leaders of the rebellion came by and was like, "Death to oatmeal raisin." Can't get much more anarchy than that. Okay.
I'm here for this. I'm glad we found common ground, Spagulio. I feel like we understand each other now.
It's
For
all
the
this.
next like
Yeah.
3 months, the only 2 things we talk about will be oatmeal raisin or phase.
That's it.
And just about how we distrust everybody, and especially like oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah.
Especially oatmeal
We
raisin
bond
cookies.
with our hatred.
You know what? It's a way to bond.
Well, I
It
think
is.
Mega's gonna have to roll on that madness.
Don't worry. In due time. In due time.
Once Mega
Okay.
gets back to his area, he's gonna start like breaking down camp, just single-mindedly. Kind of that manic look in his eye, just like I
It's like I'm done with this.
can't take it anymore.
Okay. So you guys start on your way to Brightwater. Megan starts breaking down his camp. Everyone makes your way kind of to the northeast. You did get you got a glimpse, but you were shown a map that said, just follow this road to the northeast. It's a somewhat major town, so you can just follow the road there. As you're going to the northeast, you're noticing that as you're getting closer to the mountain, it's getting colder and colder and colder. And then you hit a very specific spot where everything just sharply rises in heat, and it is just almost swampland. It is like humid. Even in the north, it is just humid, crazy hot weather. So you're traveling on the road, and it's almost like a wall too. It's like you pass a wall, and this is where you are. So you keep on traveling, and in the distance you see a relatively not large, but like a medium-sized town that has a large sign over it that says Brightwater. And it is rather bright. There are actually a lot of lights. It is probably it's getting closer to nighttime. We're not quite there yet. It's like twilight-ish. A lot of lights. It does live up to its name. It is a very bright town in the middle of the bayou, middle of the swamp. And yeah, so traditional stone walls around it. A gate out front. As you approach the gate, there's a guard on duty. Like, who goes there? Got his armor and his
Such a
spear.
good question.
My name is Gary.
Okay.
Sup?
What brings you all here around the nighttime?
We
Twilight
were,
hour. Most people travel the road during the day.
We were, and now it's nighttime, and we need somewhere to stay.
Re- Reasonable. I just need to just I'm not
We
gonna
are
lie.
looking for someone. We are looking for someone in particular, and that's why we've come to this town.
Okay, honestly I just needed a reason other than just rest to
Yeah,
just to
no,
make
we're
sure
looking for
everything's
someone. Thank you. Yep.
okay.
We're not
That's
Yeah,
associated
so
or
yeah.
affiliated with any particular parties that may be of interest to you. Thank
Is
you.
okay.
is
Okay.
Unless
yeah,
you're
that makes us
affiliated
more
with
suspicious. So is this so? There's like a this town is fenced in.
Yeah, kind of. It has like it has like a fence around it, and it's actually I'm gonna go with wooden like wall around it, kind of like you would
Okay,
see
but
a more.
is it like
It's not
What is
free.
it?
It's not like free. Kind of like some of the other towns where there are no actual walls. This is a walled-in town.
and is the guard like, is there a gate and he's in front of the gate, or is there actually room
There's
for
a
him at
there's
the
a gate and
top?
there's like a pulley. He's up top and he can pull the gate open. He uses
Okay, hang on, I think I gotta roll for this.
okay.
Crealis, who's been flying overhead, has like, as soon as we got there, kind of landed near him, right on the gate, like up top near him,
Yeah.
and uh, at this point says, "Oh, thank you."
He just like throws his spear on the ground and is like, what? What?
falls off the top, dies. We're now all wanted.
Wow.
Oh, he just when did
BD,
you
folks.
is she with you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's ours.
Next time, he looks at Krios. Next time, don't sneak up on a guard on duty. You're happy that I threw my spear on the ground.
I
How tall is the wall?
15 feet.
Someone's learning.
I still might be able to.
Just go up over the wall again.
Krialis gives a frown and says, "Oh, I just sort of landed here. I wasn't particularly sneaking.
I mean,
But okay.
yeah.
Maybe keep a better grip on your weapon." And just glides past him.
You hear him like muttering as he's picking up the weapon as you're gliding away. It's like, well, if I had a better grip on my weapon, I would have stabbed you by accident. So I guess if you want me to keep a better grip on my weapon, he's getting like kind of frustrated as he puts the spear on his back and then he starts pulling the gate open angrily. At this point, he's starting to get frustrated. The gate opens
Doesn't
up.
get paid enough.
Don't get paid enough for this. The gate opens up into what you would kind of expect of a normal human town. Actually, none of the architecture is very elvish. It's very human in nature, just traditional wooden buildings. Some of them built up on slats because of where they are to, stay above the swamp water. There is a road throughout town that doesn't have, that isn't waterlogged or anything. There's like main streets, just normal buildings off to the side. They are all very, very well lit. And yeah, there's one giant building in the center that is named the Bogard Bovine Tavern. There are also general stores, which do seem to have. One of them has their lights still on. The other ones have outside lights on, but in the windows there's nothing. There's just
You're
darkness.
talking like general store, like hardware store, like general adventurer store.
I don't know, Rufus.
You don't know? I think we should go there.
No, I was making a point
Oh,
saying
God.
I don't know Rufus as opposed to I don't know Spagulio, because Spagulio doesn't know what a hardware store is.
Okay. Team. Let's all approach the closest random NPC and ask what their name is.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a human who seems to have a hood up, just kind of walking normally, not quickly. You approach him and ask what their name is. Like, Dave.
Hi,
What
Dave.
can
My
I?
name's Gary. We both
I'm
have
sorry.
we both have very normal names.
Well, my name's
Entirely
normal for a human.
non-suspicious
You,
names.
I feel like this is a thing that we have in common and we could bond over, but we don't have time for that.
I mean, honestly,
Where,
my name's
what,
normal for a human. For a gnome, Gary's kind of a weird name, but to each their own.
well, I mean, if you want to be a dick about it, where can we find people?
There's the tavern. This is a town. You can find people anywhere, I guess.
They
What
have
do people
rooms.
do?
Dave, do they have rooms to rent at the tavern, please?
There are some rooms at the tavern, yes.
Thank you, sir.
I
You've
mean,
been
it
a
is a
wonderful
tavern.
help. And Mega walks towards the tavern.
I mean, Kiva's following right behind. She doesn't really care about Dave.
Oh yeah, no, I'm walking away from this. I'm like, fuck Dave.
Dave just muttered under his breath again. It's another person's like, God, why do these people just walk up on the street to me? I was just minding my own business. Suspicious people. Okay. So you guys go up towards the tavern. It is a nice large building. In front of you is a tavern. So there's one big door that seems to lead into almost foyer. It's actually partially open. It leads into like a foyer area, and then a storage room under behind it. And then to your right is the door to this lovely tavern. If you'd like to go walk inside.
And which way was the store that had the lights still on?
Across the street that's not on the map, but it is across the
Okay,
street.
cool.
So
Yeah.
Some
you
half orcs at the bar?
know those are I don't know if you'd know what those are. Roll a
Probably not if they're what their pictures are.
history check for me. You would vaguely know what those are. So, as Spagulio and Mega, and I'm guessing Kiva as well, because she was right behind it. I don't know if Kraus is also entering or if Kraus is lagged behind a little bit.
Lagging a little bit.
Okay. Entering the tavern, in front of you is a rather busy tavern, or not so much super busy, but a tavern filled with some people. To your right as you enter, there are a couple of just cloaked figures talking in the corner. To your left is just a normal human person, normal human being, just drinking a beer. At the table in the center, in the upper center, by the hearth, is a very well-dressed gentleman. At the bar itself are two, as Mega can barely make out, Githyanki, that seem to be talking to the bartender in not angry tones, but slightly more elevated than normal tones. And in the back left corner seems to be a gentleman counting money who is wearing a very long cloak and a very wide brim hat, and is also playing the lute just a little bit, counting money, and then he picks up his lute and just starts strumming away a little bit.
I wonder who that person could be. It's almost like we saw an illustration of them before.
It's almost like
I kind of like get close to Mega and I'm just like, you might know shit about the outside shit, but this is my house. This is where I'm comfortable. That guy in the back over there, he's probably the guy we're looking for. Don't even look at
Really?
the guys. Since I've walked in, and I'm like looking like straight ahead. I'm just like, there are exactly 7 people in here.
Are you including us?
No.
Are you including the
about-
bartender?
I'd like to. What is my perception?
what is your passive? I mean, no one's hiding. There are also
I'm trying to.
Mega would
prove
have
my-
noticed. I know
Doesn't matter
Spagulio
if people
did.
are hiding. We're just curious about whether Spagulio is actually counting people.
To the left, Mega would have noticed there are also 4 kind of bouncer-esque people sitting at a long
I'm
table.
trying to show my situational awareness by not even looking around the room and
No,
but like
I
still
get that.
knowing how many people are here.
No, that's fine. Go on.
Where oh shit, yeah, no, where are- so
That's a one. Let me
I
switch
don't,
the scene.
Cool.
you know what? I'm gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna be like, there are exactly 7 people in this bar, and at least 5 of them look like they
There
could
we go.
handle themselves in a fight. So I get the ones out of the way early.
True.
That's how probability works. It's true.
Roll,
Yeah.
roll after ones.
Crealis is checking out that store and particularly kind of like peering through to see if it has arrows for sale.
Yeah, so you can see inside there is a human, um, normal, traditionally dressed, a little bit of a stocky build, starting to like close up and put away things. Are you sneakily looking in the windows or just like peering in the windows as like
No, just peering in the window, but like,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so he just kind of keeps going around his business. He does look over and see that you're there. He doesn't say anything specifically to you. You do see that there's some arrows. There's various forms of munitions in one part of the the general store. Um, a weapon or two here, a vial or two here, just what you would find in a generic general store.
Crealis pokes her head in and says, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bother you.
No, that's
Are
fine.
you still open?
Yeah, closing up shop soon, but we're still open for at least one more customer.
Oh, I could. I was hoping I could get some arrows. I'm in need of some arrows.
Sure. Sell them in stacks of 20 for 5 silver apiece.
Okay. Could I get 2 quivers?
Sure. And grabs a couple bundles. Would you like a quiver with it, or do you just want the arrows?
Will how many arrows can a single quiver take?
That's a great question. I don't think 40.
Creolis
I
would
think
know.
40 is
I
too
do not.
much.
Like 30?
20, it says. It's right there, first
Okay.
thing.
Are they just bundled
Yeah,
or
so
do they
they're
come
like
loose?
tied off. They're just tied off in stacks of bunches of 20. But there are quivers next to it. Which he it's like so for the quiver, tack on a silver for the quiver. We do like a package deal. We know one of the leather workers in town, so we get him for cheap.
Okay.
So we can give you
Yeah. And pulls out a gold and a silver and puts it on the counter.
yeah, there's a counter behind. He walks behind the counter as with the arrows. Um you probably have to float a little bit, I guess, to be at counter level.
I can do that.
Yeah. So you're
As
just
long
kind
as
of
there's no
floating a little
paper
bit.
nearby.
There is no paper nearby. You're good. So yeah, you put the money, and he gives you he puts the arrows on the table. He unbundles one and puts one in the quiver, and then hands you the other bundle. What? Just a curiosity. What may someone like you be doing with some arrows? You adventuring? I know we have a lot of adventuring types coming through here. As he's finishing
Yeah,
off the transaction.
uh, yeah, and it's been dangerous roads lately, so
It is
uh,
dangerous around here.
ran out of arrows once, and I'd rather not have that happen again.
Yeah, you don't want to find yourself in a fight without any arrows, especially, if you're someone that uses a bow. I don't fight myself much, so I wouldn't know. I just stay within the town limits if I can help it. But it's folks like you that keep the city safe, so always glad to re-up your ammunition.
She gives a little smile and says, "Thank you. I hope we can continue to keep you safe.
Uh, Me too. Thank you a lot for all you do.
Have
Have a
a good night."
You too.
And she uh, hops out and zips across the road to the inn
Yeah.
tavern place.
Okay. So you head over to the tavern. go back to the tavern conversation. Spagulio was like, there are 7 people here. Did you decide? So, I mean, you're incorrect with your number.
Yeah.
Only you can really decide what you saw. Like, so what were the ones that you saw? Or was it just 100% you're just making up a number off the top of your head?
I don't think he was making up a number, but he probably saw whoever was the absolute most visible.
Okay, so you probably didn't see the person in the lower left corner, because 7 would have been guy in the back left, and then the guys around the bar, and then that one guy in the center. The thugs are visible, but you would have had to turn your head to see the thugs specifically.
I mean, he probably would have added a couple to how many he thought were working. He's still gonna go with 7.
Okay.
Because there's probably 2 people. So we got 1, 2 through 5. There's probably 2 people working in the back. There are 7 people in this bar.
Everyone else can see
Crealis
that.
hears
Yeah.
this and kind of like quickly looks around and sees there are, in fact, not 7 people, but a lot more.
Yep.
And
feel
5
like
of
we
them could
all
probably take us in a
clocked that.
fight. Spagulio is the only person who didn't look around and only looked straight.
Just looks straight. Everyone else is like, oh, there's like 10
Like
people.
coming
or
into the
not
middle
10.
of this, she's confused and like, what? Thinking, why is
Why is he saying 7?
Google 7? Does he not count is he only counting humans? Like,
Spagulio's very racist.
That's even wrong for just humans.
Oh God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 humans.
He wasn't that far off.
I mean,
He's rounding down to the nearest.
so Crealis coming in and looking around does very much want to kind of, because this is kind of who she is, and nerves and all, wants to make kind of a threat assessment. Like,
sure.
You, the DM said thugs. Is that what it looks like to her?
They look kind of like bouncer thugs. So like, if you do something wrong, they're not going to be happy.
They're keeping the order of the
correct.
tavern. Okay.
They look more thuggish than like professional, but they do also have that like bouncer vibe.
They're look not ripped, but they don't look suspicious.
Correct. Yes.
And do any of us know what Githyanki are?
Mega just barely would have known what they are from a book he randomly read on the ranch.
I mean, I have a patron.
You want to roll for you can roll for history if you want. If you want to figure out what they are, feel free to roll for history.
I feel like Kiva might know. To be perfectly honest,
I can tell you
she would be familiar with people.
I mean, that's 21.
Yeah. I would roll, but Spagulio doesn't care what they are.
That's fine. 24 to 21.
There we go.
Both of you know for sure they're Githyanki. They are Githyanki. They're Gith.
They're the Gith variety.
Of the Gith variety. They are creatures that usually go. Best way to actually put that. You know what Gith are. They are not from this plane. Specifically Kiva knows that they actually were once slaves of mind flayers.
So are they just sitting at the bar drinking?
They do no. They were having like not like an angry discussion, but a somewhat heated discussion with the bartender about something. So if we're talking about threat assessment, Crealis would have noticed that they're slightly more elevated just with their passive perception than like a normal conversation, but not like they're gonna kill each other elevated, just slightly more elevated. But yeah,
one of the 5 Spagulio.
Both Crealis and Kiva would know what a Githyanki is, and would know that they're kind of out of place. Like, you don't see them very often. They are a race that was once enslaved by the Mind Flayers, and they broke free. And
they're from a different plane.
They usually like to ride dragons. You didn't see any dragons outside, so.
To be fair, we didn't look up.
You didn't look up? It's true.
They're probably getting detailed. Their dragons are getting detailed at the local dragon
at the local dragon stables.
Polished, loose scales removed. Sharpening the talons.
And chrome dragons.
Both grown dragons. Okay. So yeah, that's what you see. What would you like to
All
do?
right. And
Okay.
is it two of them and just and that's the bartender.
And the
That's
barkeep is the
got it,
like
got it, got it.
generic icon token.
Okay. And the person who's counting money is the one in
Who has now
green or
stopped
this?
counting money. Back left, the one with
Okay.
the specific special portrait as well in game in
And the
Foundry
specific special portrait in the middle.
is just a well dressed gentleman that seems to be slowly sipping something that out of a glass. Everyone else seems to be having steins of something. This gentleman has a glass of something's probably special, higher class. And the gentleman on the left, the person with the wide brimmed hat and the cloak, has stopped counting money at this point and is just strumming away on a lute, just a little song.
That's the guy in the upper left.
Yes.
Mega's gonna make his way to the bar.
Okay.
So as he's doing that, I'm walking over to this guy and I say, 10 gold. Says, that guy can take those guys.
Who are you pointing at?
I'm pointing at Mega and saying that he can take the Gith.
Oh God. Well, Kiva is now off the train that Spagulio's on.
he looks down at you. He's a very slender, kind of older gentleman. So
Wait, let me see if I have 10 gold. Wait. I'm not going to in-depth myself.
He already said it.
yeah,
oh,
you
yeah, I
already
got
said
lots.
it.
I have tons.
You also already said it though. So if you didn't have it, you would have just put yourself in debt. He just looks kind of. He gives you a look, swirls around his beverage a little bit. He's holding it like a person would hold like a wine glass with the stem between the two fingers, and he's like, takes a sip, and looks at the two. You know, if I was a betting man, I'd take that, but I tend not to bet. I tend to just collect those debts from people that bet, people like you.
Yeah, it's not much of a bet anyway. I know who's going to win.
Oh,
Kind of cheating, really.
It's funny, having collected so many of the debts from imbeciles like you that would bet away your money so easily. It's funny to hear you talk as if you think I don't know what you're trying to get me to do.
I mean, hey, I mean.
And he actually turns away, looks at the hearth, and
sport.
just sips his drink.
Nothing but sport.
Nothing but net. He doesn't acknowledge your existence after that. He just
that's okay. I
by
won't
the heart.
pursue him.
Okay.
I will summon my packed weapon, but like in sheath. So like it's like now a sheath packed weapon that exists.
Okay. Sure. Okay. What would everyone else?
Kind of like glances between Spagulio and the bouncers.
You do notice one of the bouncers kind of give you an eye because the weapon's gonna pop up. The hilt of the weapon's gonna appear.
Yeah.
If it's sheathed, kind of give you an eye, and like he does not take his eyes off you for
that's cool.
Possibly the remainder of the evening.
It's for my protection.
That's what you think. That's fine. The bouncer's gonna make sure that that's actually a thing.
I'm just saying, the last couple times Mega ran into something, I didn't have that ready.
Okay, so we have Mega walks up to the bar, and you catch a little bit of a conversation with the bartender. They're a somewhat hushed but mildly elevated conversation about like where is this item where is this rift? We heard that there's a rift that's opened somewhere nearby. The bartender's like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. And both of the Githyanki are just kind of they're pressuring him a little bit as if they think he knows something. But who knows? He might not. But yeah.
I'm coming up and I overhear. I'm going to try and stealthily I'm up behind them so that
Okay.
I'm like in the two of them, like right in the middle.
Roll stealth.
And I'm proficient. Am I proficient in that now?
Yes. Yes, you are. Kraus would
Damn, I
also have
could have got a
proficiency in medicine.
proficiency, and all I learned was my sword's name is Charles. What was I doing with my life?
D&D rules. As you're trying to stealthily walk up behind them, you do actually notice one of them turn, like, not fully turn its head, but you notice it turn its head slowly as if it realizes where you are. Because you kick you're walking by this table, kind of trying to get behind them, and you kick the bench a little bit, and it makes a little scrape across the floor.
That's fair.
Um,
I'm stealthy in the woods.
right, just not in
Yeah,
the
you didn't
city.
practice in bars. This is completely
No.
different.
So you walk in between them. The two are just still having their conversation. The other one, you notice that the one that's below you has his head, even though he's talking to the bartender, his head is cocked a little bit to the left as if he's acknowledging your existence, but not really caring about it too much.
Okay. I'll wait for a slight lull in the conversation and then say, what kind of rift are you looking for?
The one that acknowledged your existence turns around, a rift between planes. Just there's a rift that appears to have opened up somewhere around here, and we think the bartender knows something about it, though he's not telling us. And that's pretty much it. Do you know anything about it?
I've heard of something that might be a rift.
Like, yeah, both of them turn around at this point and like stare at you intently. What do you go on?
Oh, okay. Mega's gonna try and fast talk a little bit, which I realize is not something that he is, necessarily good at.
Sure.
But he's gonna say, I know the northwest of here, after a star fell from the sky, there's been a lot of activity going on that seems like it could be related to a rift.
That might be another one. There was one that's supposed to be closer to here. They both look at each other. There's one that should have been closer to here that opened up. There's been rifts throughout this land for some reason that have been cropping up, and we've been trying to deal with them as much as possible.
So you're in the problem-solving business.
We're in the balance business. Rifts don't bear well, especially if they lead to our home plane. Creating enough rifts could cause some issues. We would like to keep our plane intact.
He'll nod, like he knows what they're talking about.
Sure.
Sure, absolutely. All right.
But yeah,
well,
anything you would know about the rifts would be great. I mean, maybe we'll send someone to go check it out, but there has to be someone else. There has to be one closer by too.
well, we just got into town and we have a few things to follow up on. But if you're around, find you.
Sure. Thank you. He goes back to the bartender. The other, so the one that below you said thank you. The other one just kind of gives you a stern look and just goes back to his business.
Kiva kind of found her way over across on like the other side of the tavern.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious how much of that she would have heard because the balance business is something that she is a fan of.
If you're trying to listen, do a perception check intently. If you're just like,
She
Yeah.
would have been just kind of like eyeing everything, but like trying to
Sure.
listen in on that, especially since she knows who those people are. But like she
Right.
didn't have anything to say initially to them, so she didn't want to just go up there.
Yeah.
Um,
You would have caught
think
all of it
something good.
for sure.
Yeah.
20.
It's not a surprise because Mega's not real quiet.
That too.
Just to project.
At that point, she kind of would have slowly made her way up to the bar and sat herself down next to the more friendly
Yeah.
Githyanki.
Yeah.
And kind of just offhandedly would have said something of like, I hear you're in the business of balance.
He returned to you, said, yes, there's just been a good amount of rifts that have been opening that possibly are threatening our home plane, and we would like to stop that from happening and close any that we
I hope you
can.
don't. I, I hope you don't find this to be an invasive question. So please feel free to, correct me if I'm presupposing and asking this. But did you come from one of these rifts?
No, we just traveled our normal way, just plane shifting from limbo to here.
Um, would Kiva have heard about any of these rifts, or like, because me, Stacy, hi, hello. I have. um I kind of feel like, oh, hi Mega. I kind of feel like she might have a vibe that like the issue going on up north might be an interplanar one. The one where something like landed there. She feels like that might be an interplanar thing, but she's not positive. But she like when it comes to stuff like that, she definitely is a little more in tune with like she would have tried to pick up on any rumors or anything like that.
You probably during your time at like in your month, you would have caught some talk of rifts. You also would have brought your attention to the rift in Hartrim that existed that you closed. Um, and you would have heard people talking about just like in general in Alara, rifts seem to be becoming more prominent between different planes. You wouldn't have known
Um,
no like specific locations, just like a rift opened up over here today, or like a rift seemed
right,
to be appearing more often.
right. Remind me, the rift in Hartrim, was that the one where everything was like purpley
Purple,
and we
yes,
closed? Yeah, we closed that one. Okay.
yeah.
Um, I okay, good. I remember this. I was hoping I wouldn't have to. My memory's been shit. Um, I'll and we closed that one because had we had found an
You
object from the Book of Memories
destroyed
that
a
closed it.
focus of
Or
that
no.
rift. That one seemed to be
Okay, yeah.
connected to the focus. Yeah.
Right. Okay, it wasn't attached to the memories per se.
No, the
Okay.
memories were different.
Um,
Just something you found
yeah,
around
that
there.
was that
Yeah.
was a different story. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of like tell them our like my personal experience with the rifts,
Hmm.
and kind of what it was like in Hartram. I'm gonna be like vague enough. I'm not gonna like out my compatriots or talk about the Horizon Walkers because screw them. But I do kind of want to just like explain like what our experience was like with a rift and how we were able to close it. This is sort of like a hey, no, we're doing kind of the same dealio.
Sure. The friendlier Gith actually pulled out a notebook and started taking some notes. Most of the way through your conversation, the other Gith looks a little more stern, puts his hand and is like, Adon, it's time to go now. That is enough. And they both walk out of the bar.
Mega knows that feeling.
The friendlier one says goodbye and thank for the help. They say goodbye, thank you for the help. And the other one just kind of gives you a stern look, and you hear them kind of muttering. You hear the sterner one muttering, "This is our problem, not theirs. This is what. Do not get other people involved in this. We are a proud people. Don't."
Oh, believe me, we're good at making other people's problems our problems.
And they're gone.
I feel like just of like just a little bit of well, I don't know that it would be all that subtle because Kiva's not a terribly subtle person,
Yeah.
but I feel like she would have conjured some of her she would have, yeah, she definitely would have like taken on one of her wild shapes for a moment,
Hmm.
just and let her like starry form kind of just like sit there as they were walking away, just to kind of like say like, hey, the stars are on my side. This is my issue too. So she would have just like taken on her chalice form, and
Yeah.
then probably would have just taken a casual sip from said chalice.
The friendly one does kind of look at you a little bit wide eyed and is like, interesting. And the stern one just kind of looks at you with a like very stern look, almost like he just
Okay,
doesn't care, and then just kind of with
fair,
his hand on the back of the other guy walks him out.
Her roll
fair. It
seduction.
wasn't meant to be like provocative. It was just like a little
Yeah,
razzle
no, like the
dazzle.
challenge. It was more like a ooh magic. It's like
Magic.
ooh magic, and then the other one's like, no, no, sir, out you go. This is our problem, not theirs. Kind of thing. Yeah, and that's that.
hmm and yeah, and then Kiva probably would have gone to find
Sure,
her other friends.
everyone's in the corner, up a little
So
set of
Oh, like
I
stairs.
would
across the bar. You know how hard it is for me to navigate on Foundry?
I can put you
I would have been watching that,
right over
but
there.
not I would have been watching that, but not listening to any of it. And as Kivo makes her way back up to the table, I'd be like, "Struck out, huh?" As he like sets the beer down in front of her.
She rolls her eyes and she kind of like apparently back to business with Spagulio, and she just kind of like sighs indignantly and is just like, "Ugh, that's none of your business. Why won't
I'm
I
just saying
move?"
they looked like the picky type of folk.
I
Did you
moved
see?
you over to the corner. I don't know if it actually took into your foundry.
Probably not. Let me refresh here.
Sure.
My
I take
I've
those
never
two to
had good
be
luck with Foundry.
Gotcha.
the type of folk that are picky.
Wow.
So rude.
Really?
So rude.
Oh,
Yeah, she's not gonna like dignify
I'm
that with
just
a
saying,
response.
maybe if you lower your standards, you'll have more luck.
How low should I lower those standards? To your height, maybe? That's about as low as they could go.
So you're
It's
saying
pretty
there's a
much near the
chance.
dirt. Ah,
so
okay. Sorry,
Mega
Foundry
brought
like broke me.
Yeah.
I was
brought
trying to
the
roleplay, but I'm also
beers,
trying to get Foundry back.
got the beers over. I don't, beat them out to everybody. Gift tends to forget that Alice like doesn't like beer or doesn't seem to. I can't remember if I've ever actually seen Kiva drink beer either. But
She just doesn't enjoy being around people. That's why she doesn't drink.
fair enough.
You know, some people like to drink because they're around people when they drink. It's the opposite problem.
So yeah, everything seems to kind of be going the same in the bar. The guy in the corner's taking out his loot, doing his thing. You do notice that his loot looks a little bit different than other loots. It's a little bit longer on the neck, and it kind of goes out almost into like a barrel-esque shape near the bottom, as opposed to a normal like rounded off.
So Spaguglio finishes his beer and he puts his puts his ale cup down.
Hmm.
He says, "So I'm pretty sure that the guy we're looking for is in the back there, but I could use this mind reading medallion on him."
Why don't we just talk with her first?
We're not very good at that. just like as I mean, I'm the best at
As
that, and we're
on
not.
principle, we're bad at talking to people.
I'm just saying.
Go for it then.
Okay, I'm gonna
Do it.
use the thought medallion.
Sure.
He has to do a DC 13.
DC 13 Wisdom save.
Yes, I believe so. I can't see detect thoughts right now. I'm in the medallion. One sec.
You guys are gonna see his name. I'm just gonna roll it out.
Okay.
You already
Where's
know
the
his name.
button?
You know his name. What we're talking about. I can just roll this out in Foundry.
Oh, I can't see
You're
the
good to go.
thoughts, but... Okay, cool.
His surface level thoughts are pretty general. Just thinking about the song that he's playing. There's a little loot, thinking about the money that he has counted out, and just kind of is doing his thing. A little thought about how am I gonna maybe I'll have enough to pay someone back. Is a little thing that you catch on his surface thoughts.
Okay.
Be used to that thought.
I'm gonna probe deeper.
Okay.
No, wait. If you probe deeper, the target must do another save. If it fails,
I think it
you
knows if
gain
you probe deeper
insight
no matter what.
into the. If it succeeds, yeah.
Yeah, either way, they'll know. Are we delving into this person's mind?
I'm
Yeah.
already in their mind. I'm already
So
in
the
their mind.
conversation that happened, you can, if you want to add something to the conversation, we'll say that he just did the surface thoughts. Was
Okay.
we don't talk to people well, so we're gonna probe his mind. That was the conversation that happened in
Yeah,
a
Megan's
nutshell.
like, why don't we just walk over to him? Like, we don't do very well at
Yeah,
that.
because Kiva doesn't like people. Spagulio is kind of a dick. Mega gets angry, and you're very shy.
That was the conversation that happened while you were gone. If you want to add to it because you
So-
were gone, it's totally
Nice.
fine.
I think. sh- Not immediately, but like as Spagulio is doing whatever it is he's doing, I'm going to see if Crealis like pulls herself together and flutters over.
Pulls
Sure.
up her
Do
bootstraps
a
and,
check. Is it
and
just a
does what
straight
no one else
charisma
is
check?
brave enough to do. Well, it's not
I
that
guess
we're
it
not
would be a
brave.
charisma check.
This is a
So we just have
bravery check.
personality issues.
Like,
Feel like, yeah.
Spaguglia has
Oh
ridiculously
no.
high charisma.
Oh no.
Nah,
Okay. No.
I'm good in
You
this
like
corner.
you start to ruffle your feathers and then you're like, nah, it's not worth it.
Nah.
Spagulio tells the group what he's heard, and he's very good at intimidation and deception and persuasion. So he's like, I don't see this guy as a threat, and I'm pretty sure he's who we're here to see. I mean, if he's who he's supposed to be, we should just be able to like walk up on him and talk.
Well, by all means, he doesn't have any information I'm gonna want.
I'm gonna go say hello, and we'll see how
Going
far
with.
that gets us.
Okay. So you go up to you
We're not
both.
gonna surround them.
You're gonna surround the man. I have no clue. Yeah.
Crealis does flutter to a slightly closer chair
Okay.
and keeps an ear out.
Okay.
Do we know as a group if he's expecting us? I don't remember if we got that from the conversation.
I don't know if
think we
anyone
do.
said that. I'm pretty sure it was just we sought out a private investigator. But he was sought out though. So it's up
But
to you
it's a
whether your
question- it's a
character would have
question of-
inferred it or not.
Okay.
He's just
Spagulio definitely thinks highly of himself to think that somebody would be waiting for him.
plays a chord on his guitar.
And
I would play a chord, but I don't think it would come through the mic properly.
Yeah, that's
he's
fair.
gonna walk up to the table and he's gonna say, I believe you have some information for us.
He sits back in his
Phineas.
chair.
I use his name as well. I say
Okay.
Phineas.
He looks at you to the side. I see you know my name. Phineas. That must mean you are the ones that I am expecting.
Thank God. They didn't give us a secret knock or anything.
Honestly, that's probably my bad. I probably should be usually it takes people a very long time to actually find me, so I don't tend to need to give someone a secret knock. What
That
brings
is
so
convenient.
it I've thought about it as a business model. It doesn't always give me the most money to be a private investigator. That's hard to find, but I do only get the good cases like yours.
I like make that motion like to the other guys. Like, you guys can come over. He's not gonna bite us, probably. And if no one comes, that's cool too.
Everyone just
I mean,
stands back.
I was only gonna follow because that's where everybody else is going, but like, y'all are looking for stuff and she's not, so.
It's true.
Crealis takes a moment, and as Kiva moves, we'll start moving as well.
Sure.
Becomes over. She's like, yeah, just because I'm over here with you doesn't mean we're friends.
Doesn't mean we're friends. Yeah. Okay. So everyone goes over to Phineas. He looks over at all of you.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, little friend. So I guess probably best to start, since I'm working for you, to fill me in a little bit about what brings you around to Whitewater, other than the things that I am, finding,
Just
that I have
before
found.
before we get too far into this,
Huh?
because we don't know what you're gonna tell us, should we be somewhere more private than this?
Oh, it's fine. No one really listens too much in this bar. It's fine.
So do you know where Lila
Mhm.
Canna is? You guys are just gonna jump right into it.
I do know where we can find that information. You should be able to, actually, all of your threads, oddly enough, lead to a very interesting town. Oh, Mega is now the DM because the game's changed.
Quick, give us magic items.
Everyone gets magic items.
Everyone roll a death
Steal
save.
everything.
um, oddly enough, everyone's kind of point of interest is we'll be taking you all to a town very similarly named to Brightwater, but it's actually called Backwater. There is some
So we're going to
information
some
there.
backwater
Okay.
town, huh?
Yeah, honestly, they didn't name it. Those. Let's just say the people that are there, they do not. They are
Nicer
interesting
than they are
people.
smart.
Oh, I don't know about nice being the thing. Interesting. They are nice to some people. But yeah, that's where if you want to, we can just go right there, right now, if that's your preference. I usually like to ask a little bit about who I'm dealing with before I start. Maybe give off a little back and forth, but that's totally fine if you want to just go.
You want to know more about me? What's your
Sure.
stance on oatmeal raisin cookies?
They're okay from time to time.
Mm.
My name's Gary. I'm a trainer with the Horizon.
He looks at the three
I
of you.
don't
I
know
think
where
you've
Mega,
brought the
like,
wrong. I think you've brought the
wanders.
wrong. Yeah, sure. He actually looks. He cuts you off. Looks at the three of the other people. I think you've brought the wrong person with you. Is we a Spagulio? Not a Gary. I know your names. I just wanted to know a little bit about like your backstory, your reason to be here. Usually when I take on a contract like this, I like to get a little bit of a back and forth. But it's fine if you want to just go right to it. And I appreciate the no lies, because I'm not going to be hiding anything from you. Your people are paying me, so
It's true. You do work for us.
literally.
Lila Canna is my sister and Mega.
Okay.
Just need to know if she's still alive.
From what I can tell, she's still alive. She seems to have ran away. Everything seems to have led to running away, as opposed to being kidnapped. So
Okay, not kidnapped.
But running away in this world, depending on where she ends up, can be just as bad as being kidnapped, depending on who you run away to, or if someone catches you while you're running away. So time is of the importance there.
No, is Countess Maple Ellen looking for her?
I have not run into the Countess specifically while doing my own research, unless she is using different channels. Then no. But she does have more resources than most people in this land, so maybe she's just been hiding it.
Who would?
That's what I hear.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
Mega points in turn. Spagulio, that's Crealis, that's Kiva. Keep going.
Going now. No one else wants to say anything. Just go.
Crealis hops from one foot to the other and says, why do you do this?
Private investigator. That's a long story. I gladly tell you on the ride to Backwater. If you would
He
like to get
gives
going
like
now.
a little nod that then gets a little stronger. Oh, okay,
Sure,
I'd like to hear it.
of course. Like I was saying, you guys are paying me, so I would gladly tell you my backstory and about all that. It's a long ride, so perfect time. Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so he starts to walk out this way, and this gentleman kind of sets up and looks him down and is like, "Where do you think you're going, Phineas?" And Corrales notes a little bit of sweat drip off of Phineas's brow. His loot is now on his back. It's like, I just was going to leave. I swear I'll just pay you back tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And
Spagulio takes a step forward and he says, I bet you 10 gold that guy can take you.
the gentleman that is in front, the elegantly dressed gentleman, kind of completely ignores what you're saying, and just looks right at Phineas and says, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, Phineas. We've been here before. We can be here again. We're either going to take the money from you now, or we're going to take you out back and rough you up until we get the money. Sorry. This is a business.
I put my hand on my sword.
Okay. Mega barely restrained himself from just pushing the guy down in the first place. But Mega's gonna reach out, take the guy by the front of his cloak, pull him in close, and be like, "Please leave us alone. We have more important things to do than deal with your money." And
Do an
then
intimidation check.
Oh, I'm so good at that.
He looks down and is like, get your hands off me. This is business. I'm conducting business that has nothing to do with the two of you. This inn does run off of money, and we are collecting our debt from Phineas. It is not.
Can you collect your debt after we're done with him?
We've been down that route before, and we never get the debt back until he stupidly walks back in here and decides to gamble again.
What does he owe you?
100 gold.
I bet you 100 gold.
It's not a bet. He just cuts you off. There is no betting. It is money. I want the money. I see he had some on the table. He should be roughly 100 gold on there, maybe. If not, maybe one of you two who decides you want to interject to business can pony up the tab, or we can beat him up. And he kind of looks over at the thugs, look over at Phineas. My bouncers can also work as debt collectors if necessary.
I guess my hand's already on my sword. I go, I guess we'll beat him up.
Yeah, beat him up by like. Okay, are you talking?
That's what I said. But that's what I said. But I'm looking at him.
Okay. So you're trying to say that you're going to be the bouncer to Phineas? You're going to beat Phineas up?
Well, that's what I said. But
okay, no, that's what I'm saying. Do a deception check. if you are trying to say we're going to beat
I
Phineas
think
up.
he's
No, no, no.
intimating that we will beat the innkeeper up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just repeating the thing he said back to him and staring at him intently. Is it like, no, we're gonna beat you up? Yeah, we're gonna beat him up.
Is Kiva like hiding behind a menu at this point?
It's just she's not hiding. She's just there.
She's just chilling out.
Yeah. She's just,
She did come over to see Phineas with us. She's just
True.
Foundry.
She's just foundry locked at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
sorry.
They're fine.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine.
It's a struggle with the foundry and me. We have issues. But yeah, I am over here. I am just I'm just sitting there enjoying the show. This is all
Kratos
yours.
hasn't moved
I
yet.
make
Then
I make
roll an
Kiva look like-
intimidation check, Spagulio, because you're not trying to deceive. You're trying to be like, we're gonna beat the crap out of you.
I am so good at this. I'm gonna roll a 1, but I am so good at this.
At you raising your sword, like, man, we'll beat him up. He kind of backs down. He looks Phineas square in the eyes. If you show yourself here again, we're taking the 200 gold now. And he walks over to the bar this time. And the bouncers, who were actually starting to pull their weapons out, sheath their weapons, and go back to their
I put
thing.
mine back as well.
Okay. So you guys start to walk out of the bar. Phineas looks over and like, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Might have been a little bit over,
Good.
a little bit over my head there.
Kratos flutters, good cat and catches up.
As we're walking out, Mega's gonna look at this rando person and the
Yeah.
200 people.
Yeah.
Are they like looking at us at this point?
Yeah, they're eyeing you a little bit. Not like a little bit scared, actually. Not like they're not eyeing you like, They're like, we don't want to deal with those people. You guys have fun. Goodbye.
Thank God he didn't ask us to come over.
But yeah. Okay. So you guys make your way.
Mega's gonna catch the eye of this front hooded guy.
Yeah.
If he can.
Yeah.
He's just gonna stare at him and like.
The hooded guy like nods at you and then just turns around back to his drink at the table, and everyone just kind of turns away from the 4 at this point. You 5.
Things go so much smoother when people don't know you're a shepherd.
See?
Oh my God.
Okay. You guys make your way out of the bar. Not the bar. The tavern. You guys go all the way out to the little stable area off to the side. There's a bunch of horses for you. Or a bunch of horses. I guess you guys would have probably rode in. Would have been given horses, so you have your own horses. By the rebellion.
I named mine Buttercup.
Sure. Everyone has their own horses. Yeah, as you're saddling up, Phineas kind of looks back and like, sorry, very, very sorry about that. Let's just say that gambling is a bit of a vice, and I not always the luckiest man.
It's not gambling if you know you're gonna win.
You have to teach me your ways sometimes if you think.
You're gonna get along good.
Of course, you can find a way to always win.
Well, no, you just don't bet on the things that you might lose on.
But what if you're wrong?
Don't be wrong.
If only life was that simple. And he
You never lose. You
saddles
just
up.
delay the winning.
And you start. He looks inquisitively at you. And he's like, I've tried that before, and that's normally what happens when I delay the winning. A debt comes knocking on my door.
I taught Crealis how to gamble.
He looks very surprised at Crealis. You also you gamble?
She won. She has 100% win rate.
Damn, lucky charm.
That's what I said.
Kratos looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're both like looking at her like Lucky Charm.
Okay. So you guys get on your horses and start to make your way out. Phineas, Crealis, are you flying or are you horseback?
I
I
mean,
guess
I guess if we,
it's it's not like at a gallop. You're going at a normal pace. You're not like going
yeah, I think
fast.
she'd rather. Well, I guess she'd ride because she asked
But
something and
yeah,
was waiting for the answer.
sure. So you guys ride for a little bit because it's nighttime. There's actually a little spot where you guys also make camp, I guess, because it is starting to be nighttime. You guys make camp a little bit outside the town. Find a nice little dry patch of land. As everyone's sitting around the campfire, Trinius kind of looks around, looks specifically at Crealis. So you asked why I do what I do.
Mhm.
Uh it is a long story. A very long time ago, I was actually not a private investigator. I was a bard. And he pulls out his lute and he does a little strum. I'm not going to do this in song because that would be a very long song, and gotta save my voice for it. Honestly, I don't know. I just always use that as an excuse when I don't really want to play. Um, it's still a bit of a hard story for me to tell, but I came here with my wife and my daughter to Alera on a little bit of a vacation because Alera was for a very long time considered a spot to see, a sight for the people to see. Um, this is it's a good amount of time ago, probably around the start of the Reign of the Shadow. He is also like looking down while he. I'm not just the one looking down. He is also looking down while doing a kind of like fiddling with his hands. You can see that he's kind of getting a little bit nervous, not so much nervous, but a little bit just uncomfortable. Um, the we wanted to go see one of the back some of the back places, like backwater kind of, but some things that were off of the tour. There actually were, believe it or not, there were tourist routes for Alera. We wanted to go see some of the other places, and we stumbled upon an elven town that does not exist anymore. My wife was taken by the shadow, leaving me with just my daughter. Then about a couple weeks go by, and a shadowy figure appears at my door, offers me a proposition. You can see your wife again if you just do what I say. I said no, because I was a man of integrity. He laughed and he said, well, too, he laughed and he tries to do a shadow impersonation a little bit. And he said, I guess you will be just seeing your wife anyway. Just probably not in the way that you thought. And behind him, a abomination appeared, which by appeared I mean it walked out behind him through a portal. Uh, he it looked almost nothing like my wife. It looked like it was in immense pain, and it looked like it went through a hell of a lot of pain. Uh, so me doing the only humane thing I could think of, I killed my wife, killed the abomination. And to this very day, my daughter hates my guts for it. So here I am, just doing what I do, trying to help out the people and to deal with the shadow. This is why I gamble, to fill the hole in my heart. But enough sad talk. What brings you all to here? Give me a little more information while we're going by the campfire. Going to sleep.
Okay,
I got on
I'm gonna lean into my 8 charisma.
Sure.
Do it.
Crealis like the whole time is listening and like very seriously listening,
Mhm.
and he says this, and she says, I was abandoned by my family as an egg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about 8 charisma's worth right
Yeah.
there.
he kind of nods his head and is like, that, and hopefully I can at least connect you with your family. That's what yeah. I imagine that's why you're at least looking for some people of your tribe.
And she just nods.
Anyone else? I poured my heart out. You don't have to if you don't want to, but feel
Uh,
free to.
I got on a boat to find some food and then somehow got tricked into joining the army.
Now, I guess a better question for you is why do you gamble? What started you? No one gambles like us for no reason.
I don't know. I don't got nothing left to lose. It's all winnings. Once you've lost everything, are you really losing anymore?
I mean, sure. No, you're right. I guess
Damn straight.
once you've lost everything, are you really losing anything anymore? It's a loaded question. He kind of stares off into the distance, doing his like stare. Um, what about you, Mega and Kiva? Anything at all?
I'm here on behalf of my wife and her sister. She can be married off against her will to someone vile out by the Duchess. Uh, Worried that she danger because she's ran off or been kidnapped or something. And honestly, uh, my wife is means the world to me. So your story touches, and very sorry for you.
Yeah.
I'd do anything for my wife.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the sorrow. And I will do what I can to make sure that your wife, sister, or your sister is safe and does not have to marry off to someone she does not want, and that she is okay. Okay.
Nigga's all like flustered by the unexpected emotion of the situation. Be like, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm gonna go set up perimeter and see what's on, and
Okay. Um,
hurriedly like get up and stand up and nod and kind of push off.
Gotcha. He looks over at Kiva. Anything at all? You don't, like I said, you don't have to. I understand. I've met a lot of people that don't like to talk.
I mean, I have nothing to say to you in particular, as I did not hire you.
Understandable. I understand. You're not the one that gave me the money. I get it.
Point of
Well,
I'm
order
simply here
is
supporting my companions who happen to have similar interests.
what did you say?
I'm trying to remember. I thought that there was something for each of us, but was there something for Kiva?
She just came because the stars said, "Oh shit."
No,
Pretty
no, I
much.
mean for the private investigator.
No,
She didn't have anything specifically.
Okay, okay.
But
For
maybe
some reason I thought each of us had
I'm
something, but
I'm
okay.
possibly about to get to that, Mr. Dinsdale.
Kiva has
Um,
a couple of things, but she doesn't want to say it in front of everybody here. He'll talk to the private investigator if she can like catch him
sure.
alone at some point.
She does make he makes a little bit of a note. He says nothing here specifically. I don't know if have you heard anything about a nightmare, a druidic nightmare.
Yes,
You
I'm
would have heard
aware.
about this before. Okay. If anything I can do to help with that, I have a couple of druid friends. I would anything I can help to find out anything. Please let me know. That one I would do for free. I have a couple druids that are close to me, one of which was taken somewhat recently. I'd like to get them back if at all
I
possible.
I will let you know if something stirs my interest, and I will contact you directly and privately.
Okay.
Pull
Heard you
out my
loud and
stick,
clear.
I'm like, I pull out my stick. I'm like, you can talk to Trent if you want. He's a real good listener.
He looks right at the stick and Trent, best listener I know. How's it going, Trent?
Not so bad.
That's good to hear. At least someone, Trent's coming here with a little bit of the positivity. I can appreciate that. You're getting a little bit too deep here.
Hang out with my friends and have parties.
Trent.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough, Trent.
That is enough, Trent. But yeah, I appreciate the little background. Anyone who says this land has the best way to put it. This land has gone to shit, and a lot of things here just aren't good anymore. And I will do whatever I can to try and right that in any way possible. And if that is helping you guys out for money, of course, because I do have my debts that do need to be paid. Money does still exist. I'll gladly do it. Well, I'm going to get some sleep for the night. You guys have a great night. He goes to his tent area, goes in. You hear him play a little song. It's actually it's upbeat-ish, like he's trying to get his moods in the right spirits before he goes to bed.
Do any of us recognize the music? Is this was he a famous bard? Do we know? Are we hey, this song says if what's
Like,
new
oh my
Pussycat
God, I
came
know
on,
that
and it's just
tune
I
from
know that
somewhere.
song.
You can
Yeah,
roll
I've
up.
heard.
That's that one song from that one year, from that one hit wonder.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can roll a
exactly.
history check to see if you know Phineas's music.
I know right away that Kiva does not.
Okay.
She's lived in the woods. Although, if he was that good of a one-hit wonder, she might have heard tale of a certain tune.
You notice little bits and pieces of his style. He's not playing a specific song that he's played before, but you do. Spagulio does kind of know, and even Kiva. Everyone kind of gets a little bit of I think I've not so much that you can put a name to it. It's one of those bards that's I heard that tune before.
I've heard.
I wonder if it's theirs or they're doing a cover or what. Is that their? I wonder.
It's when you hear a classical piece and you just know it's classical music and that you've heard it. And you're like, I know that.
He is pretty good. You do notice that even when he's just kind of fooling around, he's pretty good. Okay, you guys want to do anything before you go to bed for the night? But the characters go to bed for the night.
Diego wanders back in, wondering who's playing Despacito.
I mean, if Kiva gets a chance now that what's his bucket alone, more or less, Phineas is alone more or less. She'll probably go up to him and say, I don't need anything specific.
Okay.
Like some of my others. I'm going to ask you for something specific, but I'm not necessarily motivated by what I'm about to discuss. However, I do find it important and potentially stirring if you did come up with anything. Do you mind if I ask you who specifically paid you?
It would have been a combination of the Horizon Walkers and the Rebellion.
Okay,
so it's a little bit strange. Normally, it's
payment.
Normally it's from one person.
Who gave you the money?
It was Farrell and FaZe talked to me and were able to find me.
Okay.
Which was a little bit strange. Normally it's a single person, but they said that they wanted to they wanted to split the cost. I mean, I'm not super expensive.
All right. And what did they pay you for exactly? To just help 3 of us? To help all 4 of us?
To help you guys. I mean, specifically to find the Countess's sister, or to find Mega's sister, to find Crealis's people, to find a secret ingredient, which honestly, I kind of know what I'm looking for, but that one's a little bit far out there. And to help.
Who is it a secret to?
They specifically said they didn't know exactly what you would be looking for, but if I could help to help out.
I'm not there. I'm not
No, I
there,
know. I was
metagame.
talking
Yeah,
specifically
you're
to keep
good.
on that one. Yeah.
That's okay. Are you supposed to be reporting back to them?
No.
Perfect. Would you mind, since you've already been paid in advance, would you mind investigating Faye's for me?
Sure.
Her
I can do that.
opinions on oatmeal raisin cookies are questionable. However, it's not.
Just
That's
leave it
not
at that.
okay. No,
The cookies
rolling
are
it
a
back.
metaphor.
That's okay. I was gonna say because that's
These are
not
a
canon. There
metaphor
was
for
no
power.
sign over the oatmeal raisin that said Phase's favorite. That's not canon.
I don't care. The cookies are a metaphor.
It's a
They're a
metaphor
metaphor
for
the
anarchy.
system, for the powers that be.
Okay. Sure. No, I totally, definitely. I understand.
Okay.
Like I said, this is this land is not the best, and I get suspicions, and it is my job to look into them.
Fantastic. Look, I don't really like people, and I don't like associating with other druids. So I appreciate your offer to put me in contact with some of them. However, this is something I feel like is best managed in closed circles.
Sure. That's totally fine.
And if I do find out that you are reporting back to Faze or Pharrell on the matters going on within this group, not just me, I will murder you. Just letting you know.
Reasonable. Just know if you murder
Sounds
me, a lot of
slightly more
places do
neutral.
transfer debt to the murderer if they find out.
Something I can handle. And
Okay.
she stands up and walks away.
So when
Like,
you walk away,
Kiva's now just like a full-blown anarchist after talking to the star.
Take 'em down.
Spagulio's still up again, not listening to anything at all. But he's just like, strike out again. Damn, 3 strikes and you're out, girl.
I've been out for a while. Don't get me started.
Well, if you need any tips and/or wingman,
The only assistance I need from you is to overthrow any powers that be. Thank you. And she walks out. and
yeah, I
goes to
do a
bed.
pretty good job of that. And I'm just like muttering to myself as you're walking away.
Now, this is character development right here. I gotta
Yes,
say.
it is. I want to see Spagulio as a wingman to anyone. I'm okay with that.
Dude,
No.
I could just like intimidate them into going out with her. It would be great.
No, I mean to anyone in general. Literally any character with Spagulio as a wingman. That's what I,
I
want
mean,
to see.
I got a +6 to charisma.
It's true.
So like,
Intimidating someone to go out with someone else, I'm pretty sure there's a term for that. It's not
Yeah.
good.
Called
It's not good
coercion.
at all. Yep.
I mean, hey, I can choose how I do it. Okay,
You
I don't
do
come to
it
you
in
guys and tell you
a wholesome way.
You could.
I was.
It's true.
I was a matchmaker at one point.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know if I believe that.
I didn't say it was a good one. I said I was a matchmaker.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Brilliant.
if anyone has anything else they want to do before bed, before
Meg has been,
next
Meg
day.
has been asleep
No.
for 30 minutes already.
Oh, wait, can I ask? I forget who has the book of memories. Is that me or is that Mega?
Is it in the bag yet?
I thought it was in the bag. I thought we
Then
kept
it
it
would
in
be
the
you.
bag.
You have
Mega
would
it.
be
would have
me.
Mega had it, but he would have given it back to
Yeah.
because
We.
he has nowhere like to when he's out in the woods and stuff, so he just default to letting Kiva hold on to it.
Yeah. It's in the
It's just
bag.
what she wants. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
I'm scheming.
Before Spagulio goes to bed, he walk. Are we like in the woods or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He walks over to like away from everybody else. He looks down at his hands, and then he like grabs his dagger and he just tries to see if Booming Blade still feels familiar.
It does. And your dagger,
So
as you're casting the blade, it's like, boom! Did I get you? Did I scare you?
it would have been no.
Okay. Well, at least I tried.
Oh my goodness.
And that was it. There was no other
Still
talking.
got it.
Still got
it. And then he goes to sleep.
Just need to make sure that I can still use magic. I wanted the
Well,
first
it's like-
thing for you to do to be through the medallion, so that way it could just fizzle out. I cast Eldritch Blast through the medallion. Oh no, I don't. But
That's been like weighing in like the back of his mind ever since Mega said it. It's like I never really thought about that.
Can you still do magic?
I haven't used it in a month. Hopefully, it's
Oh,
like
God.
riding a bike.
Anyway, so everyone goes to sleep. They wake up the next morning. Everything's normal. Last little talk around the campfire. Phineas just goes over, repeats the fact that Backwater is very, very eccentric of a place.
It's called backwater. Of course, it's eccentric.
He in his voice, in character, he very much.
No, that's Kiva. I'm sure Kiva said
Yeah,
that
in character. Yeah, no, I could totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look, there's a lot of overlap.
By eccentric, specifically, let's see. They were originally. The elves many times have tried to kick them out. They are a human town, similar to Brightwater, but Brightwater is actually a human embassy over here, home of a human embassy over in the elven side. The high elves do not like Backwater because of their eccentricity. Let me see. Let me think. There's a quote, if I can remember it, that they specifically like to use about the high elves. Where is it in my mind? Those pointy-eared bastards don't deserve a homeland because they tried to kick them out of a homeland.
And then
out of there.
Spagulio says, "Aladrin scum," and he spits on the ground.
Sure, that's totally fine. You'll probably get along very well. But that is they know a surprisingly large amount about the world and what goes on. And since Omega's sister and also Krios' people probably rested, maybe not there, but close by, we can get our information there. So that's where we're going to go. I do apologize a little bit in advance, just because
Is this like
it's gonna be interesting.
have your weapons at the ready eccentric, or prepare for a whole bunch of very awkward conversation eccentric?
But it's possibly a little bit of both.
You just my packed weapon in a sheath there.
That's a nice trick. Okay. So you guys head on over to Backwater. So as you approach Backwater, it actually looks very different than Brightwater. As you're going along the road, you're actually noticing that the road is kind of narrowing more and like swamp on both sides. And in front of you is a giant handwritten town in this like the worst letters that just says Backwater. It's massive. It's pretty large and it hangs over the road. And there are like little tiny wooden pegs along the side of a wall. This is a very open town as opposed to anything else. And it just says, "Welcome to Backwater."
Is it in like ransom font?
Yes, actually, very similar. Yeah.
Ransom font.
Are there any
And
smells?
it smells like a bayou would, but like even
Yes.
extra bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and there are two gentlemen just chilling out in chairs that kind of eyeball you as you start walking in.
Please tell me they're like lawn chair, like
They're similar to lawn
reclining.
chairs. And they look at you. I gotta make sure I get the voice right here. Well, what are you two doing over here? What's the four of you guys? Five? I'm sorry, I can't really count. Welcome to Backwater. He's talking to you, and he actually like miscounted four straight up, and it's like, welcome to Backwater.
I'm gonna push Mega a little bit forward and be like, "This is all you, buddy."
What brings five of you lovely people here?
wasn't. Didn't want anything to do with this conversation. So
Phineas actually
Like-
specifically also lets Mega go forward, just out of curiosity. He kind of like just like, yeah, see what happens.
Mega's gonna say, "All right, boss."
Well,
So he's gonna like his voice kind of boss, and he'll just kind of work his head back over the shoulder
okay,
towards the nebulous group
okay.
looking for a half elf girl.
There's one of those that came through here just not too long ago. And he kind of the guy in the chair looks over. Honestly, I see none of you guys got really pointy ears, so you're all welcome here. The ladrin scum, never allowed here.
I also spit on the ground.
Look like a sneeze.
Achoo!
No, I spit on the ground in solidarity.
In
Us is in a-
solidarity.
Boss is an important guy. How long ago?
So I don't know so much, but at the end, the leader of this place, Jeremiah, he was a bullfrog. No, that's not in character. Jeremiah, the leader of this place, would probably know a little bit more. He knows what's going on. Yep, he's a bullfrog. Good friend of mine.
Bullywug.
Pollywog.
Pollywog, sure,
Yeah.
you can go with that. Jeremiah was a
got better.
pollywog. He was a good friend of mine.
mine.
But yeah, if you guys want to go into town, feel free to go right by. Name's Jebediah, by the way.
Of course it is.
You guys like the coat check?
I mean, we just make sure that you don't got 2 pointy ears, and that's it.
I don't think I have any ears.
That counts. That works for me.
What if? Wait. What? What if
Create
What?
we did have pointy
ears, darling.
I mean, if
What would
you
happen
do
if we
have
had,
pointy
like-
ears, then we try and stop you. You're not allowed in here if you're a high elf.
How do the give me like a description of these guys? Because like in my mind, they're like the type of like fat people that would sit outside of a gas station.
Okay,
like,
so the guy you're
middle of
talking to,
nowhere.
the guy you're talking to is actually a little bit slim and tall. He has
Okay.
a very long beard and
Mhm.
a hat. So it's not so much a straw hat. It's like what would grow in a swamp would be cattails. It's actually a hat made out of cattail, like the base of cattails.
Yeah.
Um,
Do they look like they could actually do what they purport to do, which is keep anybody out of anything?
The guy in the chair has like a warhammer that's about, or a maul that's about this big. If he's sitting down,
Okay.
kind of leaning up against him, and the other guy has two crossbows sitting on his side.
Yeah.
They're just kind of chilling.
Okay.
They're in a very nonchalant pose while they're doing this. Very much
Yeah.
similar to me, just kind of like leaning back in the chair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They get the idea that they could at least try if there's enough people. Maybe not, but I mean, also could be alarms or whatnot that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have a fantastic day, and you keep doing your duty.
We will. You guys move along now.
Hi.
Goodbye. He tips his hat. To finish, just
Anybody else
kind
get the feeling that they were like
Bump
at
off
least
towards the-
cousins?
of. We're at least cousins. Phineas looks over and is like, to be honest,
Home Alabama.
to be honest, I feel like a lot of people here are cousins, and I don't really want to talk about it. Let us just
Why
get
not?
our information.
Once they get sufficiently in, Mega's gonna spin around. There's Spagulio in one hand and Phineas in the other. Like, I'm 6.5 feet tall and have greenish skin. Maybe I'm not the best person to talk to these people.
I'm just
Sit
saying.
down. Excited.
I feel like you know
Oh,
a lot
man.
of like bumpkin pleasantries that you could exchange.
Phineas leans over and is like, I mean, you are paying me. I can do some of the talking if you need. I don't know about so
I
much
just-
to the boss himself.
I just thought you would fit in. I just want you to make friends.
He might.
Dear God.
Mega's gonna close his eyes, take a deep breath through his nose, out through his mouth. Walking, just turn and walk into town.
He's gonna. Phineas will be talking to Mega. Do you want to take the lead on this? The boss. What did you say? I didn't catch that.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I probably shouldn't.
Now he wants to take the lead.
Probably shouldn't show my face to the boss himself. There's a little bit of money that may be owed. I will just stay in the back when we talk to him, but I will go talk to the other locals because they probably don't know. If anyone wants to come with me, you're more than welcome. I don't want to do the whole sneaking off thing because it feels like I'm just abandoning you.
I'll keep an eye on you.
Sure, that's totally fine.
I'm gonna go with Mega. I'm gonna go with Mega.
What's Crealis doing?
Yeah. Mega looks at Crealis through like.
Who's wondering if she had ears, would they be pointy?
Yeah.
Alice has ears. Like owl ears are just little holes.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, there's like nothing there.
How pointy are these circles?
Mega Creolis like is about to open her beak to say something and then gets that look and it's like, I'll see the head of the town. And
Okay.
it's like kind of gauging Mega's reaction.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
Okay. Let us be on our way. It seems like the leader of this group wants to move, so let's move. And he goes. Phineas goes off to one of the sides with Kiva, and Mega. There is a very large building in the center. Every one of these buildings, so the roads are like somewhat raised up. Sometimes there are wooden platforms to walk on. Sometimes it's ground. Every time that there's just ground to walk on the road, it's actually a little bit squishy because this is a very, very boggy area. There's a big building in the center of town that looks like it's like a big circular hut with like straw-ish roof. And that's where you'd imagine the leader would be. Phineas is going to go off and try and talk to the other locals. We'll do the leader first. So Mega, you stride on up with the other two to the center.
Mega's gonna, gather himself. He's actually going to make sure that his great axe is prominently long across his back.
Gotcha.
And so it's to the building in the center. Are there doors? Sorry, I wasn't.
There are doors. There actually are doors. Surprisingly enough, it's not just an opening. It is indeed a door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to burst through said door.
Okay. You burst through the door. There's only one person in the big building in front of you. He is a rather rotund gentleman that is once again really long beard. This time no hat, just kind of long hair, slicked back, very round face, mildly gray in every. So it's a mixture of like gray and brown hair all the way throughout. It's little dabblings of gray. He looks over. He sees you burst in the door, kind of goes a little bit wide eyed, and then calms down and is like, I don't have a lot of southern accents, so it's going to sound roughly the same. So, what brings you to these parts, sir? What are you doing barging in my town?
Bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter? Well, I don't have any bounties out.
Obadiah said that elf woman came not too.
Yeah, there was an elf woman that came through. She was told the story of running away from someplace. And she wasn't. She was only half elf, so we let her stay the night.
Needs to be returned where she belongs.
she seemed to be in quite a lot of distress. Why are you trying to take her back to where she belongs? What do you mean by where she belongs? We let her go on her way. We believe in
Spagulio kind of pulls
freedom
on
here.
Mega's shirt a little bit, and he says, she belongs. I'm assuming that they don't know this. She belongs home where she'll be safe.
See, by what she's saying, her home was not safe.
Her home is not her home.
Mega shakes his head. Doesn't matter to me. I've been patient, but my boss said go. My boss said get her. I'm gonna get her.
His brain broke a little bit as her home is not a home. He like her home is not a home. I don't. What? He actually didn't. You didn't even see it register on his face that what Mega said. He's still just like, explain yourself, Gnome. What do you mean by home is not a home?
Spaguglio is going to lean into his deception proficiency here and just say that, well, you see, her parents are divorced and she has two homes, and the home that she was staying at isn't the home she should be at.
Uh, Is that's not even deception, is it?
I don't know. I'm making it all up.
Is it actually true?
Yeah, it's deception to Spaguglio.
You know, I'm gonna say persuasion because you're not even really trying to perceive. I'm gonna say roll persuasion because you're not even specifically deceiving. You're just spouting random facts and hoping that it convinces the man that
Well, he doesn't even know that they're facts.
yeah, random
He
potential
thinks they're
lies.
lies.
Uh-oh. I'm better at deception than persuasion.
You got persuasion.
No, I'm surprised.
That's
You're
not
fine.
bad.
Well, I mean, I guess you know what? I don't understand a word you're saying, but just I believe you. She went up north, closer to the mountains. She's gonna go find a dwarvish town up there. Yeah. We gave her shelter for a night, and then she said she wanted to get as far away from the not home not that you were talking about.
Appreciate your help, sir.
Anytime.
He'll give Spaguglio a half backhand whack. Give the man a few coins for what he paid,
What?
and just stomps off.
And Jeremiah looks at Spagulio. Am I getting money for what just happened?
and I look at him. I'm like, I'm not going to pay you in money, but I do believe that your city is doing God's work. And then I just say, with the way that you handle the Eladrin scum, and then I spit on his floor.
He spits back. Like, oh, okay. Enjoy your stay in Backwater, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure we'll try.
Okay. So while this is happening, Kiva and Phineas are going around and talking to some of the locals. Essentially, what is happening is just
Phineas is doing the talking.
right, and Kiva's just kind of
I am managing
keeping an eye.
the man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
I'm supervising.
they're talking back and forth. He's going a little bit from house to house, which are all like smaller versions of the large house, just nice little circular huts with straw roof, raised up above the swamp so that they don't sink in and lose their entire house. And you're essentially the information you're getting is very similar to what Spagulio and Mega and Crealis got. There was a half-elf woman that came through here. She seemed to be in a lot of distress. They sheltered her for the night, and then she was on her way. She was convinced. They actually did. You do glean one little more piece of information. They did try and stop her and keep her in a safe spot, because as far as they're concerned, Backwater's a safe spot. But she was insistent on going up to a dwarven town, which not a single person can remember the name of. But they to the north. those dwarven characters. I just don't fully understand what they do. And yeah, that's pretty much what you find out. Also, every once in a while, Phineas will sprinkle in talk of like, have you ever heard of a this is gonna sound strange, a cheese elemento? Well, sir, I don't really know what you're talking about, but I have cheese in my fridge my cabinet if you want it. And then Phineas, and every one of those conversations was, no, it is fine. Goodbye. And he would just back off the home. And you do see, also, you might pick up at a town. You'd say, have any of you seen a group of bird people come through? They're very druidic. I've heard that they at least were close by. From what I can tell, they actually came through town, and they have a little conversation back and forth to the west. They were headed through backwater and to the west. There were talks of possibly cleansing a druidic shrine that had been corrupted in some way. So they were heading out and doing that work out to the west. And that was essentially your day, was going door to door with Phineas and listening to him have conversations with people, and sometimes getting nowhere and sometimes getting some pretty useful information.
Fair enough.
Gonna end up fighting Kent.
But yeah, so everyone, I imagine, would meet up in the center of town afterwards and tell everyone what they saw.
When I catch up to Mega, I'm like, are you hungry or something? You need to, like, you're not yourself when you're hungry.
I don't like any of this.
Do you want to talk?
I got a bad feeling about this. I wish I had a cookie.
Do you want to talk? Well, you had a lot of cookies. You had more cookies.
You want a cookie, do you?
You had a pile of cookies about this tall. And you also had some shit in the bag, and it kind of ruined the rest of the cookies.
Now, I found that that's a pretty good way of dealing with problems. Are you really going to make a problem for me right now, Spagulio?
Do you want to talk to Trent? He's a real good listener.
Offer Trent to me? Probably not a good idea.
What's he gonna do?
Oh yeah, I know. I'm definitely gonna.
Not Trent.
I've grown so attached.
Mega
Through this one episode.
Mega takes Trent and puts his thumb along it. He's gonna chop it in half, and then just great difficulty pulls it back out to Spagulio. Like, I'm fine. Drop it back on in his hands. Turn around.
Would it have broken though? Because isn't it a fresh clipping? Would it
have just bent. It's still
Wouldn't
new.
it just bend?
Yeah, you would have gone there really, and then you would have
really
straightened it
green,
back
so
out
it
and
just
gave.
kind of bend.
Mega doesn't necessarily know that.
It's true.
He's in a blind rage.
No, I'm gonna rage.
Feel safe in your home.
Okay.
I sheathed Trent.
Oh, Trent.
A little bent.
A little bent Trent.
Did you make a scabbard for Trent?
I'm gonna say in the woods he might have made something for Trent. I don't know if it would have been an actual scabbard, but he has a holder for Trent, of course.
I just imagine that his packed weapon scabbard is currently empty.
So he puts it in the packed weapon scabbard.
Yep.
What happens if you summon a packed weapon on top of Trent?
Well, he's still green, so he just bends.
The sheath
bends
is a
even
little
more.
bulgier than it was before. Actually, I just keep Trent in my pocket.
Sure, that works.
Great
too.
conversation starter.
Have you met Trent?
Wait.
Have you met Trent?
Nope, it's just a twig in my pocket.
The twig in your pocket. Yeah, the Hobbit would have gone much more differently if Bilbo had Trent in his pocket.
Yeah.
What have I got in my pocket?
Trent.
Strength.
What?
Uh,
He's a good friend.
okay. Do you guys all meet up? Do your little talk with Trent? You guys did as you guys all catch up in the center of town. Phineas kind of looking around a little bit. So we have our information. It honestly might be best to leave before anything. Once again, boss person, lot of money. You probably should. When we have what we need, do we have what we need? Looking a little bit nervous.
Going north to a dwarf city.
Okay, and also west. I don't know. Krialis, your people seem to have gone west. They're a little more druidic than I originally thought. But they're cleansing a druid shrine of some form that seemed to be corrupted. So that would also be a way to go if we want to go that way.
Krialis kind of glances quickly up at Mega and says, that can wait.
No. Okay, that's fine. We can go north first. And from the large hut, you just hear, "Hey, Phineas, Phineas, what are you doing around here in these parts?" As Jeremiah, the bullfrog, the pollywog, steps out. And Phineas just kind of looks around. I do not know who you talk about. My name, I don't. And
Shut up.
And Jeremiah kind of walks over. Phineas, you know how things play out in these parts. If you owe us money, we can just get this over with. We're not going to beat you up. It just means you need to entertain us by being part of the arena. And Phineas is like,
what's the
still
arena?
Don't. Well, Jeremiah's eyes just like light up. In the center of town, anyone who is a criminal or does something crime-like taking money away from us, gotta go fight in the arena for a little bit and entertain us in payment.
Is there a prize for winning?
Your life.
That's not worth a lot these days.
I mean, it could be. From what we can tell, this man right here is helping you guys out in some way. It's just honestly, it's how we do things here. You steal money or you owe us money and you don't pay it back in time. It's just a simple. Phineas here's been in the arena a couple times. He always seemed to get out unscathed.
I'll do it, but if I win.
Well, okay, wait a minute. So you don't even know the rules. Let me explain to you the rules of the arena. So, this arena,
is probably good to know.
It's going to be, normally it would just be Phineas versus one thing. But he can have up to 4 friends in there. And when you add one friend, it adds one other thing. So it would be a 2v2, a 3... Sorry, numbers really aren't my strong point. A 3v3, a 4v4, or a 5v5, depending on what you guys want to do. So essentially what I'm saying is, either he fights alone or he fights with you guys. The more of you guys, the more the things he's fighting. And it makes it just that much more spectacular.
Can I just do it
like he's
alone?
capable of handling this all by himself.
He might be able to, but what's the fun in that?
Can I just do it alone?
You can't do it for him. He's got to be in there.
What if it's a 1v2? I'll take on 2 of them.
You don't even know what you're fighting. You're just going to
Krialis,
go in by yourself?
While they're arguing, Krialis flutters to. I cannot remember this man's name.
This is Jebediah.
This is Jeremiah, and
Jebediah,
Phineas is
Jeremiah.
Phineas is the
Phineas.
yeah.
I keep wanting to say Ralph, and I know it's wrong.
Ralph.
There's like they're not even
They're not.
One ends in a
remotely.
PH and the other begins with a PH, and
That's
that's about
true.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe his last name is Ralph. His name is now Phineas Ralph.
Phineas Ralph.
Flutter up to Phineas. And while they're the Spagulio and Jeremiah are arguing, says, if you want help in the arena, I'll join you.
You know, I appreciate it. I won't turn down help. It does definitely make it easier. Last time I barely got out myself. But I also do not want to burden you with this if you don't want to. That's totally fine. I get myself in these decisions. Sometimes I need to get myself in these decisions. Sorry, I just getting all battle ready sometimes makes me slip up on how I say things.
Not good for
What
a
I am saying is you can if you want. I appreciate it, but also if I get myself into this, I can also get myself out if necessary.
Because like I'm helping. I've been wanting to hit something all day.
Meanwhile, Spaguglio's been going back and forth with this guy, and he's just like, a 1v2, you don't even know what you're fighting. He's like, fine, 1v3, and he's like upping it like over and over. He's just like reverse like negotiating, making it worse for himself.
So like, and it just keeps, you just keep going up. It's like, the thing is Phineas has got to be in there though. So I can make it a 2v5 if you really want it to be. You got to have at least two. Or one if it's just him.
If you're gonna handicap our team, you gotta handicap their team.
Well, I mean, a man such as yourself is definitely not a handicap, right? If you can go 1v3. And a man like Phineas, I've seen him fight, so he's also not a handicap. So I don't think I need to handicap a damn thing.
I don't know, man. He was afraid of a dude in a coat earlier.
Dude in a coat? What?
Yeah. Weird.
That is weird. But no, these are the rules, so we're gonna be sticking to them.
Well, you guys are just uninspired.
Well, I mean, this has seemed to work a lot. No one really commits crime here unless they want to go fight in the arena. I have seen someone steal something just to beat the crap out of someone before, and let me tell you, that was an interesting time. I'll have to tell you that story over some beer one of these days. But yeah, let's just.
Oh no, we're not friends anymore. We're not friends. I'm still gonna fight in the arena, but we won't be getting a drink later. We're not friends anymore.
I'm a little bit hurt by that after everything you taught me about Holmes being away from home. I thought that we had made a connection.
We did. We bonded. There was a moment there, and you ruined it.
So how many of you are going to be in the arena with Phineas?
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Man.
That's 3. Kraus, have you decided where you're going to or not? I know you offered, and then Phineas said it's up to you.
Yeah.
Kiva,
she just nods.
Okay, Kiva, are you watching from the sidelines, or are you?
She's probably gonna watch from the sidelines because she doesn't understand why she needs to be involved in this.
I'm kind of hoping that she'll cast spells from the sidelines.
We'll see what happens.
She'll say, "All right, I feel there's no need for me to get involved in this. However, if you do end up with a few cuts and bruises, I will expend a few spell slots to help you out, I guess."
Jeremiah looks at you and is like, you got to declare you're either in or not. You can't stand outside and then come in. You're in?
That's not how this works. They fight and then I bandage their wounds.
That's fine afterwards.
Okay, great. Glad we got that cleared up.
Sure. But okay, so you're not in and you'll heal them afterwards if they make it out alive.
Yes.
What is this, the hokey pokey? Can we just go like stab things?
Sure. Let's do it. So he walks you all over into an arena, which is like a swamp. It's like a slightly more indented version area of the swamp. There's a very small wall around it, and as he's walking over, everyone go to the arena map. As he's walking over, he's saying, so essentially we have monsters around this area that we use to fight people, for crimes and whatnot. We don't want to use people v people because that's just creating more of a bloodbath, which though it does sound like fun, we also don't want to, kill people that make up this town, because that numbers. I was told that if you, whatever, it was a long conversation. There was a couple elves involved, half elves. I'll tell you about it one time. Oh, wait a minute, no, I won't, because apparently we're not friends. Anyway, it's going to be a 4v4. So we're going to do 4 things against you guys. We're going to release them from the sides. They're going to come in. They're going to attack you. And you're going to kill them. And that's pretty much it. And then Phineas is dead. Gone. Because you've given us the true gift of entertainment.
So wait, whoa. Just so we're clear, if he dies, we're all just off the hook?
No, you guys are all in it. If he dies, it doesn't matter. You guys got to keep on fighting.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we were clear.
That you guys are going to keep on fighting even if he dies? Yeah. You're not allowed outside the arena.
Well, yeah, I'm
until
not going to
everything's
kill
dead.
your mystical monster if you're calling them back because the fight's over. That's just unsportsmanlike.
Right? Can you believe we had a guy trying to do that once? That was not a fun time. Let me tell you. Anyway, everybody get in and let's go. We can either call it there if everyone wants, or we can go for the fight. It's up to you guys.
I probably need to be headed out here in a little bit.
Sure. So we can call it there and start with a fight next week. Or next 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Whenever.
Yeah.
Whenever we end up back here.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Narrator's voice comes in. What's gonna happen? Find out in 2 weeks. And Mega's
Find
like,
out
"Oh,
in 2
come
weeks."
on!"
Let's find out what happens next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Hey.
Hey.
That just changes my plan a little bit, because I was going to burn all my spell slots on that fight, but I don't know if I can do that if we're starting the session this way.
That's the question. Gotta make you think.
Yeah,
Anyway.
now I got to think about it.
That's going to do it for us then. Thank you all for showing up. Thanks, everybody. It was a lot of fun. Happy to be back doing stuff, things. D&D. Goodbye and good night.